Chapter 507. Martial artists had to be able to endure loneliness. Whether it was Fong Ping, Wang Jinyang, or Rose King, all of them could actually endure loneliness. The entire day, both of them did not find Rose King. They had no idea where that fellow was hiding. During the day, Fong Ping and Wang Jinyang did not communicate anymore. They were like real rocks, shrinking motionlessly in the wall. The whipping was still going on. These catacombs martial artists did not treat human martial artists as human beings at all. They used up their vitality force and threw them some energy stones. If they did not seize the time to absorb and recover, they would still be whipped. Fong Ping could see the blood splattering even from so far away. There were only 6 human martial artists who were captured now. Fong Ping did not know how many had died, but these 6 people were all in ragged clothes, their bodies full of blood marks. Everyone was like a mute. Be it human martial artists or catacombs martial artists, no one spoke. Other than the sound of the whipping, there was no other sound in the huge sealed world. The 2 rank 9 powerhouses did not stay in the same place. Sometimes they would walk around. They even walked toward the back, perhaps to check on the situation on the other side of the Forbidden Sea, to see if the people from Star Town had arrived. Night fell again, the 3rd night in the catacombs. The moment night fell, a few powerhouses moved in front of the boundary wall. A rank 8 powerhouse rushed out of nowhere and said something in a low voice. Even if Fong Ping had good hearing, he could not hear it. However, in the next moment, Fong Ping guessed that the people from Star Town had arrived. This was because these catacombs powerhouses suddenly grabbed Zhang Qingnan and the others and quickly disappeared in front of the boundary wall. Wang Jinyang moved slightly, but he suppressed his impulse and quickly regained his composure. In the distance, there were some sounds. It was the energy fluctuations of people fighting. No, there were vitality fluctuations too. Fong Ping felt it. They were indeed human powerhouses. The people from Star Town had arrived. Not long after Tai Mu and the others disappeared, a clear voice was heard. Tai Mu, come out. Do you think you can hide it from me? Yang Daohong. This sentence was not in the catacombs language, but in Mandarin. Fong Ping's pupils shrank. As expected, the people from the restricted area understood the human language. Not only did they understand, they were also familiar with humans. This Forbidden Region expert actually knew Yang Daohong, and Yang Daohong also knew him. Tai Mu quickly appeared in front of the realm barrier. He said gloomily, Yang Daohong, what's wrong? Are you the only one from suppressing Star City? As for the other rank 8s and rank 8s, he completely ignored them. It was true that rank 7 and 8 martial artists could besiege a rank 9 if there were enough of them, but it also depended on the rank 9. A restricted zone rank 9 was already stronger than some city lords. Coupled with a rank 9 divine weapon, if these rank 7 and 8 martial artists wanted to surround and kill this rank 9, it would be suicide. I alone am enough to deal with you. Yang Daohong's voice came from afar, followed by a loud laugh. In the past 60 years, you and I have fought hundreds of times. Tai Mu, tell your people to come out together. You can't do it alone. Yu Ming and Tai Yu should also be here, right? Yang Daohong, do you think you can beat the 3 of us by yourself? Tai Mu's voice was cold as he sneered. Your true king ancestor is already dead. Do you think it's still the same? If you didn't have a good ancestor, you, Yang Daohong, wouldn't be worthy of being mentioned in the same breath as me. Ridiculous. Yang Daohong let out a low humph and said coldly, Tai Mu, get out of the bounded zone. Otherwise, you'll definitely die this time. Then let's try. As soon as he finished speaking, a figure appeared in midair. The enchanting woman smiled and said, Patriarch Yang, it's been a long time. Yu Ming, is it just you? Yang Daohong said lightly, is Tai Yu dead? Without waiting for their reply, Yang Daohong suddenly laughed and said, he's probably dead. Otherwise, there's no point in hiding. You guys want to come? I want to come too. This is something that everyone knows. Interesting. You've triggered the sealed boundary? Humph. Tai Mu let out a cold humph and said again, Yang Daohong, open the sealed boundary and let you retreat safely. Otherwise, you'll definitely die this time. Inside the wall, Fong Ping could not help but curse. Mother asterisk curve fight. Stop talking nonsense. The corner of Wang Jinyang's eyes twitched, and he said in a low voice, "Don't make a sound. They don't have time to slowly scan us." Fong Ping was unconcerned and let out a cold humph. The people from Polaris City are very familiar with these people. Mother asterisk Kerr. I even suspect that they're in cahoots now. Even if they're not in cahoots, I'm sure they won't fight so brutally. Look, they're even chatting when they see each other. Not necessarily. If they're really in cahoots, we humans won't stand a chance. The 12 ultimate vampires are all from Polaris City, including Commander Li. They're just not as direct as us. Wang Jinyang refuted Fong Ping's statement. If the two parties were really in cahoots, then humans indeed wouldn't stand a chance. It could only be said that there was a slight difference between these people who stood at the top and the martial artists at the bottom. They were not the kind that would kill as soon as they saw each other. Fong Ping naturally knew this, but he still frowned and said, "Try not to come into contact with the people from Polaris City. This time, we can only rely on ourselves. Polaris City might only care about humans, not us. If we don't die in the enemy's hands but are killed by them, then it won't be worth it. In the restricted zone, there are 2 rank 9s and 2 rank 8s. 4 rank 7s, but there's still one who hasn't come. He's probably guarding Teacher Zhang and the others. In Polaris City, there's only 1 rank 9s, 2 rank 8s, and 3 rank 7s. Did someone die halfway? When they came to Polaris City, there were more people than now. Fong Ping remembered that before they went to the catacombs, there were 5 rank 7s. Now it seemed that 2 of them had died. What Fong Ping did not know was that one of them had actually perished in Tianan City, and the other had died on the way there. They left from the edge of the Forbidden Sea, but they arrived at the same time as Yang Daohong. He did not know if they had no choice but to wait, or if they deliberately waited for Yang Daohong. Fong Ping did not care too much about these things. To be honest, he had no feelings for the people from Polaris City. Although Polaris City's old ancestor guarded Mount Royal Sea and kept humans safe for hundreds of years, Fong Ping admired and was grateful for this. However, the people from Polaris City were isolated from the world. Very few of them appeared on the battlefield in the catacombs. This made Fong Ping not too fond of them. They might have their mission and their purpose. Fong Ping did not see it. He only believed what he saw. He saw many grandmasters fighting in the catacombs. He saw many grandmasters dying together with their enemies. He also saw a large number of grandmasters' children fighting on the front lines, countless of them dying in battle. Tian Mu's entire family, old and young, had died in the catacombs. Donglin's Qin family, Qin Jiaxing's entire family, old and young, except for Qin Jiaxing, the sole heir, had all died in battle. Fong Ping admired and respected these people. As for the people from Polaris City, perhaps because they were too far away, they did not have much of a sense of empathy. Perhaps one day when Fong Ping found out and saw these people fighting and bleeding with the catacombs martial artists in the Forbidden Zone, he would probably not feel so repulsed. Now that he saw the people from Polaris City chatting enthusiastically with the other party, Fong Ping did not like it. He did not like it. Wang Jinyang said in a low voice, "Don't talk about others. You have the same personality. If you were in their shoes, maybe you would talk for a longer time. After you're done talking, you'll attack." How? Fong Ping had not finished speaking. Reality proved that old Wang was really amazing. His premonition was too strong. Both sides had attacked each other. While they were chatting, the people from both sides approached each other. Then, a rank 7 from each side rushed into the other's camp. After that, they self-destructed. Boom boom! 2 earth-shattering explosions rang out. The next moment, a mentality attack so strong that it seemed like it could kill everyone instantly swept across the entire city. Fong Ping's face turned green. "I've really underestimated you. I've underestimated you." This was King going to perish together. Previously, Fong Ping was not too fond of the men from Polaris City. Now, he had to say, real men? That said, the people from both sides were not too far away from them. They were only 3,000 to 4,000 meters away. Now, 2 rank 7 powerhouses had self-destructed and actively attacked the Forbidden Zone. How strong was the power of a rank 7 self-destruction? And the Forbidden Zone's counterattack was much stronger than this. Fong Ping was going crazy. They could not move now. If they moved and were discovered, they would die. However, that strong mentality attack was sweeping in all directions. Since they were so close, naturally, they were within the range of the attack. Puff, puff, puff. A series of puffing sounds rang out, almost inaudible. That was Fong Ping's mentality barrier being penetrated again and again. The walls also began to shake. Although the mentality attack was not targeted at them or the walls, at this time, the walls began to shake violently. Fong Ping's face was pale. Don't collapse. Please don't collapse. If it collapsed, he and Old Wong would fall out of the wall and be done for. At this moment, Fong Ping not only had to set up defense for himself and Old Wong, but he also had to guard the walls carefully. Fortunately, the Forbidden Zone's counterattack was only in a small area. It was not a large-scale attack. Even so, the walls still shook for a long time. Fong Ping's mentality barrier was also broken a few times before it gradually calmed down. The Forbidden Zone here, Fong Ping suspected that it might have been set up in the past to prevent martial artists from fighting in the city. This was not some killing weapon that was specially made. Maybe it was just a restriction that the owner back then did not want people to fight in the city. Since it was a precaution like this, it would not affect too many people. Otherwise, the city would be destroyed in his own hands. Because Fong Ping was far away, he still had the leisure to think about these things. However, the people from Polaris City and the Forbidden Zone were not in the mood to think about this at this moment. Both sides probably did not expect the other party to have the guts to ask people to self-destruct and die together as soon as they arrived. Two rank 7 martial artists were targeting each other's rank 9 martial artists. If a rank 7 martial artist wanted to self-destruct, even a rank 9 could not stop him. He could only run. In the distance, Yang Daohong, Tai Mu, and a few other rank 9s fled frantically the moment the rank 7 self-destructed. After each retreated a few thousand meters, both sides regained their silence. It was as if the self-destruction of the two rank 7s did not happen at all. At this moment, the mentality attack in the air also disappeared. This kind of explosion only lasted for a short period of time. However, the self-destruction of the two rank 7s was not without effect. On Polaris City's side, other than Yang Daohong, everyone else was pale. Tai Mu and the others were worse off than them. Two rank 9s were injured. They were not in their peak condition. As for the other rank 7s and 7s, they were even worse off. How manly! In the wall, Fong Ping said softly, I've underestimated these guys. No, I've underestimated these grandmasters. At this moment, Fong Ping changed the way he addressed them. They were still fully deserving of the title of grandmaster. Self-destruction to kill the enemy. If Fong Ping were to do this, he would not dare and would not do it. Did they come to the Forbidden Zone with the intention to die? Just as Fong Ping was lamenting, Yang Daohong said, Tai Mu, don't force us. At most, we'll all die together. The patriarch has fallen. The Yang family doesn't want to live in this world anymore. If we can't bring back the patriarch's remains this time, then we'll all die here together. Yang Daohong said it with determination. The person who self-destructed just now was also an old man in the Yang family. Unfortunately, because both sides rushed out, they were a little sluggish, giving the rank 9 time to escape. Otherwise, even a rank 9 would be killed in a moment of carelessness. Yang Daohong was extremely determined. Tai Mu also said coldly, Do you think you can scare us? If you, Yang Daohong, really bring back the true king's remains, Pine Monarch won't let us go. At most, we'll all die here together. Yu Ming smiled coquettishly. Yang Daohong, we haven't even seen the true king's remains yet. We don't know how many dangers there are in the Forbidden Zone. Why don't we enter together? When the time comes, we'll rely on our own abilities. Are you willing to die without seeing the corpse of your true king's ancestors? Aren't you the least bit curious as to why Yang Jinwang entered the domain and perished here? Even the true king has fallen. Who knows how many dangers are lurking? Although you and I are enemies, before we see the true king's remains, it's meaningless to fight to the death. Even if you and I perish together now, the true king's remains are here. Sooner or later, someone will come again. Yang Daohong said coldly, even if the patriarch is buried in the Forbidden Zone, I won't associate myself with you. You want to enter the Forbidden Zone? Dream on. Stubborn. Tai Mu growled. A divine weapon appeared instantly, charging toward Yang Daohong. Yang Daohong also appeared with a divine weapon, colliding with the other party in an instant. Both sides were fighting at low altitude this time, controlling their strength to the limit. Although they said they would perish together, unless it was absolutely necessary, who would really want to die here? The aftermath of these high-ranked battles was not too strong. This time, everyone controlled their strength, not letting it overflow and cause a counterattack from the Forbidden Zone. It had to be said that Yang Daohong was quite strong. Perhaps his divine weapon was also extremely strong. Fong Ping even suspected that this person was not much weaker than Nan Yunyue and the others. Right now, it was 1 against 2, and there was no clear winner. He even had a slight upper hand. It might have something to do with the two of them not being in good condition. Don't affect us here. Don't fight here. Fight further away. Fong Ping muttered a few words, not looking at them anymore. Instead, he turned around and passed through the hole at the back, saying softly, "Look for the Rose City Lord. That fellow is probably preparing to reap the benefits. She shouldn't be too far from here." Wang Jinyang did not need his reminder. He had already started looking, though his face was still a little pale. He said softly, "Fong Ping, there's a big hole beside me." Fong Ping tilted his head and took a look. He gulped. Although the earlier explosion did not cause the wall to collapse, some of the impact had caused a penetrating hole to appear beside Old Wang. If Old Wang had not mentioned it, he would not have seen it. Now that Old Wang had spoken, Fong Ping said nervously, It's nothing. It's just a hole. What's there to be afraid of? Who would crawl into a small hole like this to see you?" As he spoke, a piece of gravel crashed toward them, penetrating the wall directly. A hole also appeared beside Fong Ping. Fong Ping gulped. This time, he was really nervous. Why would they make a hole in the wall? It's 2F asterisk King dangerous. Wang Jinyang was speechless. Wasn't this your idea? There was no time to pay attention to him. Wang Jinyang suddenly said, "Look, isn't that the Rose City Lord over there?" Fong Ping looked in the direction he was pointing. In the distance, in a dilapidated building, he could vaguely see the corner of a shirt. Old Wang's eyesight was unusually good. Fong Ping did not dare to probe. He stared at it carefully for a while, saying softly, "It's very possible. This fellow has guts. He's less than 10 li away from them. Isn't he afraid of being discovered? What is he planning? Does he want to catch us all in one go?" The Rose City Lord had not shown up until now. Fong Ping did not know what this fellow was thinking. The people from the restricted area had been lingering here until now. They had not opened the boundary wall and entered the inner circle. Since the Rose City Lord had come for the Paragon's corpse, how was he going to sneak in? Based on Fong Ping's judgment, even if the boundary wall was opened, it would only take a moment. Was this fellow trying to force his way in under the watchful eyes of these rank 9s? For a moment, Fong Ping was not sure what this fellow was planning. Forget it. No matter what he's thinking, we have to let him join the battle. Wang Jinyang frowned. He's from the catacombs after all. Once he joins the battle, what if he attacks High Grandmaster Yang? That's true. Fong Ping felt a slight headache. The people from Star Town had arrived a little earlier. If they had arrived a little later, he would have lured the people from the restricted area to fight the Rose City Lord first. Unfortunately, plans could not keep up with changes. He did not expect that the people from Star Town would fight the other party as soon as they arrived. The people for Star Town are a bit of a hindrance, Fong Ping muttered. If he lured the Rose City Lord out, he was afraid that she would attack Yang Daohong together with the people from the restricted area. If he did not lure her out, both parties would be exhausted. Would that not be letting this fellow off easy? Whatever. I can only take a gamble. High Grandmaster Yang is not stupid. If the other party really shows up, he will definitely retreat. It's hard to say. He seems to be prepared to fight 1 against 3. Maybe he still has a trump card. If they really fight until they're half dead, maybe it's time for me to show up. Fong Ping gritted his teeth. There was still a chance to turn things around if he lured the Rose City Lord out now. If he really waited until Yang Daohong and Tai Mu were exhausted, then this rank 9 Rose City Lord would really be unstoppable. This fellow had been hiding until now. The people from the restricted area might not be so stupid as to really trust him. The rank 9 had been alive for a long time. It was possible that they would first join forces to kill the Rose City Lord. After thinking about this, Fong Ping took a deep breath. His mentality began to overflow. When some gravel was shot from afar again, Fong Ping's mentality suddenly activated and began to control these gravel, shooting it instantly at the place where the Rose City Lord was hiding. Bang! The gravel shot crashing into some walls. In the corner, Rose King's expression was dark. Mother asterisk her. They were already so far away. How could they still have such great power? When those people were fighting, they controlled their strength to the limit. Logically, at this distance, the gravel should not have any strength left. No, they should not even be able to shoot over here. Glancing at the few rank 7 and 8 martial artists in the distance, Rose King snorted softly in her heart. Obviously, among these people, some of them did not have good control of their strength, causing it to be difficult to retract and unable to control their strength. Thinking of this, Rose King felt a little helpless. Although the bounded zone was very big and even ran through the entire 11 southern territories. Here, however, was the area where the border wall was the weakest. Otherwise, he really wanted to just leave. As for opening the border wall, he did not necessarily need to rely on the restricted area and the people from Star Town. Since he dared to come to the bounded zone, naturally he was also confident. But even if I can go in, it's best to kill them. Rose King thought of these in her heart, her eyes dark. If these people did not die, then he would not be able to open the border wall. Even if he opened it, these people would all come in, and he alone was not their match. Now, it was also an opportunity, a very good opportunity. These people did not know that he had come in. As long as both sides fought until their energy was depleted and the undying god could not recover, that would be the opportunity to kill everyone in one fell swoop. These rank 9, relying on physical strength alone, were not much weaker than rank 7 and 8. But that was for rank 7 and 8. He was also a rank 9, and now in peak condition. When that time came, it would not be up to them. Killing these people, not only could he increase his chances of entering the bounded zone, but he also had the hope of monopolizing the true king's remains and entering the true king realm with peace of mind, without worrying about being disturbed. Fight, fight. All of you will die later. Just as Rose King was thinking of these, a few gravel shot over again, piercing through some walls. Bastard. Rose King cursed in her heart. The place he chose was very far away from there. Logically, it should not be affected. Moreover, this dilapidated city was very big. Why did it always affect here? Ever since the resurrection passageway opened this time, he had not been successful once. Rose King almost wanted to kill someone, and something that made him want to kill someone even more happened. Right at this moment, a huge rock shot over. Seeing this scene, Rose King's expression changed slightly. She carefully extended some mentality, not daring to extend it too far, afraid of attracting attention. Extending this wisp of mentality, she carefully controlled the flying boulder, not letting the boulder hit the house. When the boulder landed gently, Rose King breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the distance was quite far, and the other party did not release the undying god on a large scale. After all, releasing mentality indiscriminately here could easily cause a counterattack from the sealed zone. There were also space-time cracks high up in the sky, so it was easy to be affected. Under such circumstances, the probability of being detected from a distance of thousands of meters was not high. Inside the wall, Fong Ping cursed under his breath. Then his eyes lit up. He gritted his teeth and said, "Chaos. I'll see if you die or not." As soon as he said that, Fong Ping's mentality suddenly erupted completely, controlling a small rock to shoot out. This time, it was not aimed at Rose King, but at the 2 rank 7 martial artists who were fighting not far away. The small rock shot out, heading straight for the 2 of them. The 2 people who were fighting felt the rock's attack and were slightly stunned. Then, both of them shouted at the same time, "Who's there? There's still someone here." As soon as the words came out, Yang Daohong and the rest also paused for a moment. Then their mentality spread out rapidly in all directions. This time, Rose King, who was hiding in the distance, really wanted to curse. What was going on? Was there someone else here? But at this moment, he could not care about these things. These rank 9 martial artist mentality began to sweep around. He could not hide. Without waiting for them to discover him, Rose King soared into the sky and quickly fled into the distance. In this situation now, if he appeared here, it was hard to explain. Both sides might join forces to kill him. As soon as he appeared, Yang Daohong's expression changed, and he bellowed, "City Lord Rose! Bamboo Life, it's you bastard!" Taimu's expression was also livid, extremely furious. Bamboo Life was actually hiding here. He was actually hiding here, disobeying the restricted zone's order. His purpose did not need to be guessed. He even had the idea of killing all of them. Yang Daohong, kill him first. At this moment, Taimu did not have the slightest hesitation, immediately beginning to cooperate with Yang Daohong. This kind of rank, 9 who betrayed the restricted zone, could not be allowed to live. Yang Daohong's expression also changed, but he humphed and said, "Star City will not interfere in your own matters." Idiot, do you want to see both of us suffer? Don't even think about it. Even if we really give it to this traitor, we will not give you the chance to have another true king in the land of rebirth. If we kill him, we can still continue to fight. If not, I will join forces with him to kill you first. Although that was what he said, Rose King was here. His betrayal was already obvious. Joining forces with Rose King would be even more dangerous. After hearing that, Yang Daohong's gaze moved slightly. Without hesitation, he shot out instantly. The next moment, the 3 rank 9 great chased after Rose King at the same time. As for the remaining rank 7 and 8 martial artists, they were still fighting. Even Fong Ping was dumbfounded by this strange scene. What a strange scene. Rank 7s and 7s from Star City and the restricted zone were fighting, but the rank 9s from both sides were joining forces to kill another catacomb city lord. If this scene was told, perhaps no one would believe it. Old Wong was also dumbfounded. After being dumbfounded, he could not help but scold, "You're too risky." If Rose King could really hold it in just now, it was hard to say whether he would have discovered Rose King first or both of them first. Hiding the aura did not mean that there was no trace left at all. At least if one really carefully identified the mentality imprint on the stone, whether it was Rose King's or not, those powerhouses would be able to tell. Of course, under such circumstances, martial artists who carefully identified it were probably also very few. Fong Ping, on the other hand, was completely gambling. Fong Ping did not utter a word. He was gambling. Ever since he entered the catacombs, he had been gambling. There was nothing much to say. In the distance, there was already an explosion of extremely powerful energy waves. The rank 9 powerhouses should have caught up with Rose King. After all, they were not far apart. Rank 9s were so far away, they could even fight across the air. Fight, it's better if they're both crippled, Fong Ping muttered in his heart. He did not move, continuing to put the stone. The more chaotic it was, the more opportunities there were. Even if the people from Star City were involved, Fong Ping could not do anything. He still could not control the actions of these high-ranked powerhouses. Even Fong Ping was thinking that it would be best if both sides were crippled. If the people from Star City knew that he was here, he did not know what they would think. If they were both crippled, he would step forward to resolve the situation and take the initiative. When the time came, he would annihilate the people from the catacombs and knock these fellows out. It should not be considered cheating, right? Chapter 508. In the dilapidated city, the sound of battle roared. Even if everyone tried their best to control it, at the moment of life and death, who cared if they would attack the sealed boundary? They could not wait to attack the sealed boundary and perish together with the enemy. After entering the bounded zone, whether it was the people from Star Town or the restricted zone, the rank 9s still wanted to live, but the rank 7s all knew that the chances of walking out alive were not high. Even if they did not die here, If they really entered the bounded zone, they would most likely die. How could it be so easy to reach a place where even the absolute peak had fallen? How many people who had cultivated to this level could not see through it? They were fighting fiercely, but Fang Ping's face was pale. Wang Jinyang's face was already extremely stiff. Less than 100 meters in front of the wall, two rank 7 martial artists were fighting to the death. Such a close distance, almost right in front of them. 4 high-rank powerhouses, this distance was really not considered far. Fang Ping and Wang Jinyang did not dare to move. These martial artists had not reached the point where they were half dead yet. Now was not the time to take advantage of them. Just as the 2 rank 7s were about to reach the wall, in the distance, Rose King roared angrily, shouting, "Do you really want to perish together with me?" At this moment, everyone felt a strong life aura rising. In the next moment, Rose King, who was initially a little dispirited, recovered in an instant, reaching peak, or at least peak energy. Rose King, who was initially besieged by the 3 of them, suddenly erupted. Her divine sword unleashed an incomparably powerful force. With one slash, the 3 rank 9 powerhouses were sent flying backward, crashing into countless broken walls. Bamboo life. Tai Mu's cold voice rang, saying coldly, "How dare you betray King Song?" Divine General Tai Mu, I have no intention of betraying. All right, then let's join forces and kill Yang Daohong. Bamboo life. You said you did not betray. Resurrected martial artists are our great enemies. Are you going to refuse? Yang Daohong said faintly. City Lord Rose, do you believe this? Whether you betray or not, it's a good thing for us humans. If you really leave the restricted zone camp, we humans will not make things difficult for you in order to have one less enemy. Instead, we hope that you can live longer. And people like Tai Mu will let you live? Rose City Lord, why don't you and I join forces and exterminate the people from the Forbidden Zone? The Rose King released her life energy and absorbed a large amount of life essence to restore her peak battle power. At this moment, she was no longer a target for them to kill. The few people who were fighting to the death just now stopped instantly and began to plot against each other to rope in the Rose Queen. Yang Daohong's words were more convincing than Tai Mu's. As soon as Yu Ming heard that, she smiled sweetly and said, "Bamboo life. There's an old saying in the land of rebirth. Those who are not of the same race must have different intentions. You're a citizen of God's land and a city lord. You've killed countless resurrected martial artists. How can the land of resurrection tolerate you?" Tai Mu also said in a deep voice, "Zhu Ming, you haven't made a big mistake yet. As long as you help me kill the people of Star Dominion City, I swear that as long as you leave this bounded domain, I will never report what happened today to Monarch Song." Me too. Rose Queen seemed to be in a dilemma, but she was laughing coldly in her heart. Do you think I'm 3 years old? Among the 3 parties, he had the weakest foundation. If he did not become a true monarch, even if he made it out alive, he would definitely die. The land of rebirth would not let go of an executioner who killed a large number of their martial artists and destroyed their city. In the restricted area, he had traversed the land of Far West and exposed his whereabouts. With Monarch Song's personality, he would definitely kill him. If he did not become a true monarch, he would either stay here forever or die. If he wanted to survive, the only way was to kill everyone present. Rose King's gaze swept across the 2 parties. There were 3 rank 9s. Even if he had a large amount of life essence in his body, it would be difficult for him to kill all 3 of them. He had to first unite with one party and kill them. Only then would he have the chance to eliminate them. Was it to unite the resurrected martial artists? Or were they from the restricted area? Rose King's gaze swept across the few of them. Suddenly, he moved and charged toward the enchanting woman. Yang Daohong did not wait for him to speak and charged toward Tai Mu. There were 2 rank 9s in the restricted area. Moreover, their combat strength was not at its peak. Kill them first. Tai Mu was not surprised, but he was still furious. He roared, "Bamboo life, are you really not going to think about your children? Life and death are decreed by fate." Rose King responded coldly. Catacomb City lords usually had descendants in the restricted area. They were roped in and also hostages. However, since he had taken this step, he was already prepared. If his children and grandchildren in the restricted area died, then so be it. When he became a true monarch, he would give birth to descendants who were more talented. Rose King, who was at his peak, was extremely powerful. Yu Ming was no match for him at all. These Catacomb City lords, especially those who face humans on the front line, might not have the highest realm, but they definitely did not lack combat experience. Although there were battles in the restricted area too, battles between the two factions and the people of Stellar Sky City often broke out. However, there were not many instances of life and death battles. The ones who truly faced life and death were still the frontline city lords like them. Every human powerhouse, some old and severely injured rank 8s, and some desperate rank 9s, in the last moments of their lives, the first people they wanted to take away were these people. Although Tian'an Catacombs had only been open for a few years, Rose King did not lack this kind of combat experience. The enchanting woman, Yu Ming, was not in peak condition to begin with. She had been in the bounded zone for a very long time. Previously, she had fought with Yang Daohong, who was at his peak for a long time, and just now, she had fought with Rose King for a long time. After a few times, her condition had slipped to the lowest point. At this moment, facing Rose King, who was in peak condition, after a few exchanges, her chest was pierced by Rose King's sword. Yu Ming's face looked somewhat ferocious as he roared, "Bamboo life! Don't you dare! Idiot!" Rose King did not pay attention to her at all. At this time, they had completely shed all pretense of cordiality. There was no such thing as not daring. Just as Yu Ming roared, Rose King's body suddenly expanded. Rose King, who was originally about the same size as a normal human, became a giant in the blink of an eye, 6 to 7 meters tall. This expansion was not for the sake of doing useless work. Rose King, who had a huge body, also had a huge increase in strength. With one sword, she sent Yu Ming flying, and her speed was also extremely fast. Almost at the moment when Yu Ming was sent flying, Rose King's body was like a phantom, instantly appearing in front of her. She once again raised her sword, lifting Yu Ming up a bit. At this moment, Rose King erupted with all her strength, one sword after another. Every sword was lifted up, and Yu Ming was hit higher and higher. Tai Mu, who was fighting with Yang Daohong, saw this scene and roared, "Crack!" Rose King was hitting Yu Ming towards the space crack high up in the sky. It involved space. Even if it was a level 9 expert, once he was trapped in the space crack, he would definitely die. Yu Ming naturally knew Rose King's goal, but she was indeed not Rose King's opponent. At this moment, Rose King was forcing her to retreat towards the space crack, and she could not fall at all. Looking at the waves coming from above, Yu Ming's heart palpitated, and her face was extremely ferocious. "Damn it, you guys forced me. You guys forced me to do this." At this moment, Yu Ming was completely crazy. Originally, when she was arranged to come to the bounded domain, she was unwilling. However, with 3 level 9 experts accompanying her, and Pine Monarch promised to take back the real monarch's remains, he would choose one of them to walk the real monarch's path. This kind of temptation was extremely great, but Taiyu died before she could see the remains. Zhu Ming even betrayed Pine Monarch and wanted to kill her. Yu Ming was unwilling and hysterical, and screamed, "If you want to die, then let's die together." When a woman went crazy, she was more terrifying than a man. At the moment when Yu Ming screamed, the few level 9 experts felt a strong sense of crisis. Tai Mu's face changed dramatically. With a roar, he forced Yang Daohong to retreat and flew away from Yu Ming without looking back. At the same time, Rose King's face also changed dramatically. He was naturally confident that he could kill Yu Ming, and he was even confident that the other party could not attack the sealed domain. Yu Ming was not in his peak state, and it was completely impossible for him to escape from his control and perish together with him. Even if Yu Ming self-destructed, it would be the same. But at this moment, Yu Ming did not self-destruct. A half-real, half-illusory little pine tree appeared in front of him out of thin air. It was not a divine weapon, nor was it a mentality materialization. The half-real, half-illusory little pine tree was like a living thing, and there was even a human face on its trunk. Zhuming? At this moment, the half-real, half-illusory little tree actually spoke. Rose King's face changed dramatically, and he turned around to leave. The little tree did not care about him, and only looked a little regretful, and murmured, "I haven't gone in yet." The small tree seemed to be very disappointed when it murmured. And under the situation where he did not move at all, an extremely terrifying mentality attack suddenly broke out from all directions and attacked him. In the sky, the previously lifeless space crack actually began to fall and cut towards him. Underground, the sealed domain burst out waves of seemingly substantial mentality attack. The entire dilapidated city seemed to have come to life. Attacks from all directions were aimed at the little tree, and Rose King and the other level 9 experts were near the little tree, and these attacks also covered them. Tai Mu, who was the first to escape, roared angrily, "You're crazy. They still haven't left the sealed domain? Is you mean crazy?" The enchanting woman laughed sharply. "If you want to die, then die together. Die together." The moment her voice fell, a pitch-black crack, almost without her having any reaction, swept across the top of her head. The next moment, half of Yu Ming's head disappeared. Completely disappeared. "Ah!" A shrill scream resounded through the entire bounded domain, and a crack swept across, followed by several more cracks. Every time it swept across, a part of Yu Ming's body disappeared. Until now, Yu Ming was still not dead. In front of him, a mentality condensed into Yu Ming's figure, and he said sharply, "Die together. All of you die." The next moment, Yu Ming's mentality poured into the scimitar in his hand, and then the mentality and the scimitar converged, bursting out a radiance like that of the sun. The scimitar did not attack Rose King. Instead, it attacked Tai Mu, who had escaped the furthest, and was about to leave the covered domain. Tai Mu was about to go crazy. "Yu Ming!" Tai Mu let out a furious roar. This woman actually wanted to drag him to die together. Why? At this moment, Tai Mu really could not accept it. "All of you die, ah." A distorted laughter burst out from the scimitar, and a moment later, a deafening explosion was heard. Below Tai Mu, an extremely powerful mentality attack burst out again, mixed with the explosive power of a 9th-grade divine weapon and a 9th-grade expert's mentality. In the blink of an eye, Tai Mu's flesh and blood splattered, and his body exploded, completely covered by the energy radiance and mentality. At the same time, Yang Daohong and Rose King were also facing an incomparable crisis. Streaks of black cracks silently swept past the two of them. The appearance of the cracks was silent and could not be detected at all. Yang Daohong was caught off guard, and his right foot was suddenly swept past. In an instant, his right foot disappeared, as if it had never been there. Yang Daohong's heart palpitated, and he hurriedly flew out. As for Rose King, she was also panicking at this moment, and she roared continuously. Not only did she not avoid the mentality attack, but she also took the initiative to run underground. The air was more dangerous than underground. Although the mentality attack was dangerous, no matter how dangerous it was not as dangerous as being in the air. Rose King's flesh and blood exploded, and golden blood spurted out from her 7 orifices. The divine longsword emitted an intense light, forcefully slashing the mentality attack that had materialized. These few people were not the main target of the cracks and the mentality attack. They were just collateral damage. All these attacks were aimed at the little pine tree in the air from the beginning to the end. At this moment, the little pine tree expanded against the wind, instantly turning into a towering giant tree. On the tree trunk, an old face appeared, looking at the boundary wall from afar, sighing softly. "What a pity. Still can't see what's going on?" As soon as he finished speaking, the big tree's branches whipped at the void, and the surrounding mentality attack was instantly shattered and dissipated, and the big tree became even more illusory. Looking at the boundary wall from afar again, the big tree suddenly extended infinitely, and a branch quickly whipped at Yang Daohong, who was about to escape. Yang Daohong's face was pale, and he could not restrain his anger. There was a hint of unwillingness in his eyes. The next moment, a huge word appeared in front of him. Suppress. The huge, golden word floated in the void and began to suppress everything, including the falling spatial cracks, the underground mentality attack, and suppressing the illusory big tree. Huh? Is that all the old ghost from Star Cluster City can do? On the trunk of the big tree, the old man revealed a mocking expression and muttered, "Then don't even think about entering." As soon as he said that, the illusory big tree erupted with an earth-shattering aura that soared into the sky. At this moment, countless pitch-black cracks appeared in midair. These cracks descended almost instantly. In an instant, the big tree disappeared. The golden suppress word flickered for a while, and the golden light became weaker and weaker. Soon, the suppress word was enveloped by countless cracks, and it disappeared without a trace. When the big tree and the suppress word disappeared, the ancient city quieted down. Just like it had been for thousands of years, it was dead silent. In the forest of death, countless demonic beasts and demonic plants had already begun to flee when the big tree appeared and the cracks descended. Some fled to the farthest part of the boundary, while others fled toward the Forbidden Sea. Outside the boundary, on the other side of the Imperial Sea Mountain, an incomparably huge figure appeared. Its eyes were like the sun as it looked at the boundary, as if it could see through everything. In the Imperial Sea Mountain, Commander Lee did not reveal his fiend godlike body. Instead, he stood proudly in the void and looked at the boundary as well. He muttered, "Did we fail?" In the distance, the huge figure seemed to have heard his words. It was unknown whether it was mockery or disappointment, but it said in an extremely complicated tone, "It seems that those people don't approve of you. How laughable and pathetic. Netherworld King, in the end, it's all in vain. I really want to see the moment when you feel hopeless and helpless. Ha ha." Li Jun looked into the distance and said indifferently, "Even if I die, I'll bring a few with me. King Song, I'll definitely bring you along. Do you dare to take the gamble?" The figure paused for a moment and sneered. After a while, the huge figure disappeared without a trace. Li Jun did not care about him, but there was still some disappointment in his eyes. They failed. Startown City was not able to enter the inner area, and the sealed realm did not give Startown City a chance to enter the inner area. Sigh. With a sigh, it left his body and dispersed. The opening of Tiannan's catacombs did not achieve their expectations in the end. Not only did they not get back Patriarch Yang's remains, but they also failed in this attempt. When would Tiannan's boundary land be opened? Boundary land, ancient city. In the city, the tallest wall still collapsed with a loud bang. Among the rubble, Fang Ping and Wang Jinyang looked like they were dead, crushed by countless rubble, motionless. Even though the few rank 9s were not here, even though those attacks were not aimed at them. However, that kind of power that could destroy everything, that doomsday-like attack, even if it was just a little aftershock, had shattered Fang Ping's mentality countless times. Fang Ping did not die, but he felt that he might as well be dead. At this moment, his thoughts were intermittent. The feeling of emptiness made him feel as if he was imprisoned in the world's cage, completely isolated from this world. Recover. Recover mentality. The only thought that remained of his consciousness was to recover his mentality. Recover. His mentality began to recover. However, his consciousness still did not return. The huge, ancient city seemed to be lifeless at this moment, as if everyone had died. The emptiness was frightening. Fang Ping did not know how much time had passed. Maybe it was just a few seconds. Maybe it was a long time. Just as his consciousness was about to dissipate, a ray of light appeared before his eyes. In the next moment, Fang Ping, who was among the rubble, opened his eyes. In front of him was a huge energy sun. The night had passed. At this moment, Fang Ping's only thought was, had the night of last night passed? Or had God knows how many nights had passed? The great battle earlier had happened at night. Now it was daybreak. Fang Ping's eyeballs turned. From the corner of his eyes, he saw Wang Jinyang, who was also buried. as if he was not breathing. Was he dead? Fong Ping suddenly had such a thought. This time, did he still lose the gamble after all? Fong Ping did not expect that the apocalyptic scene would appear in the end. Was the rank 9 still alive? Were the other rank 7 and 8 still alive? Were Zhang Qingnan and the rest still alive? The explosion this time affected a wide range. He did not know where Zhang Qingnan and the rest were brought to. If they were nearby, with those people's strength, they might be dead already, right? Twisting his head with difficulty, Fong Ping wanted to raise his hand subconsciously, only to realize that this time, he had really become a skeleton. His flesh and blood had exploded to the point that there was almost nothing left. When the materialized mentality aftermath attacked, Fong Ping was the one who resisted it forcefully. The strong mentality pressure crushed his flesh and blood, and his brain exploded. At this moment, Fong Ping had a slight impression of it. His flesh and blood had exploded at that time. It was even more serious than the last time. Old Wang. This time, Fong Ping did not shout out. He realized that he could barely speak. There had never been a time when he was injured to this extent. He almost did not feel that he was still alive. Realizing that he was in this state, Fong Ping was a little self-deprecating. He had overestimated himself, actually wanting to be the Oriole. He thought that these rank 9s would go according to his plan. When those rank 9s were far away from this place, he calculated that these people would fight until they were exhausted. Maybe 1 or 2 would die. Then he could show off his skills and be the fisherman. However, Fong Ping did not expect that just a trace of the aftermath would almost kill him. A fisherman with no ability, Fong Ping laughed at himself in his heart. He turned his body over with difficulty. His skeletal arm gently pushed Wang Jinyang, who was covered in blood. Was he really dead? While pushing Wang Jinyang, Fong Ping recovered his vitality. Although his mentality had recovered, at this time, Fong Ping still had a splitting headache. Even his memory was a little messed up. After an unknown amount of time, Fong Ping's skeletal arm suddenly felt a slight vibration. Fong Ping's heart jolted. He managed to regain some clarity and continued to push Wang Jinyang. Don't push. Fong Ping, whose vitality had recovered, could barely speak now. He said bitterly, not dead? Almost Fong Ping said no more. He began to use his vitality force to repair his body. It was good that he was not dead. If a martial artist did not die directly and was hanging on, then there was still hope. What he was afraid of was that he would die directly. Then everything would be over. Vitality force was consumed rapidly. His dull golden bones began to regain their luster slowly. His broken internal organs were forcefully pieced together. His flesh, however, could not be regenerated anymore. Beside him, Wang Jinyang's body was also emitting a faint golden glow. Fong Ping wanted to rub against him, but seeing old Wang's weak look, his heart beating only after a while, he decided not to. If he did not have enough imperishable substance, old Wang could not recover himself. If he rubbed against him, then this fellow would be finished. While healing his injuries, Fong Ping forced himself to think. Were they all dead? Forget about the few rank 9s. Perhaps they were all dead. After all, the power that erupted at that time was simply too terrifying. It was like the end of the world. But the few rank 7s here might not be dead. Fong Ping did not die. He even managed to protect old Wang. Although it had something to do with his mentality constantly recovering, rank 7 and 8 powerhouses had stronger mentality than him and were more resilient. They might not necessarily die. On both sides of Star Town and the restricted area, there were a total of 4 rank 8s and 7 rank 7s. However, 2 rank 7s had self-destructed as soon as they arrived. One restricted area rank 7 brought Zhang Qingnan and the rest to God knows where. At that time, there were 4 rank 8s and 4 rank 7s in the battle. Among these 8 people, some might have died. But Fong Ping felt that there should be others who were still alive. Although these people had been fighting for a long time and were not in peak condition, if Fong Ping and I were lying in this pile of rocks, I'm afraid we would have been discovered long ago. But even if they're not dead, they're probably about the same as me. Otherwise, if old Wang and I were lying in this pile of rocks, I'm afraid we would have been discovered long ago. Although both of them were covered in rubble, if one were to look carefully, they would still be able to be seen. And now, the night had passed. No one came. Those who were still alive were probably in a terrible state. Just as Fong Ping was still thinking about these, a hoarse voice suddenly rang out from the side. Yang Daohong, Taimu, you guys are really lucky. This was the voice of the Rose King. The next moment, Yang Daohong's voice rang out too. He was out of breath, panting, saying, City Lord Rose, no matter how much life essence you have, you've hurt your foundation. It's hard to recover. Don't tell me you want to kill us? At least I'm stronger than you guys. Cough, cough, cough. Bamboo life. You want to kill me? Aren't you afraid that I'll summon Pine King's immortal deity too? You're about to die, yet you still dare to talk big. The Rose King sneered. If Pine King really wanted to split two immortal deities, he would have been killed by the true king of the Land of Rebirth a long time ago. Do you really think I'm an idiot? Try it then. Try it then. As soon as she finished speaking, an explosive sound rang out. The Rose King attacked. At this moment, Yang Daohong and Tai Mu had a tacit understanding. They attacked the Rose King at the same time. The three of them started fighting again. Not far away, Fong Ping popped out his half-destroyed head. He stared at it for a while and shook his head slightly. These people were really energetic. They were injured to this extent, but they were still fighting. Yang Daohong was missing an arm and a leg. He could not even float. He was beating the Rose King with one hand and one leg. Tai Mu was in an even worse state. Half of his head was gone. He was also missing an arm, and he was kicking the Rose King. As for the Rose King, he was slightly better. At least his body was intact. However, he forced his way into the ceiling boundary's attack range. His mentality was almost completely obliterated. At this moment, his face was as pale as a sheet. Yet, he was still laughing loudly and attacking the two of them. He was miserable, but these two fellows were even more miserable. The three rank 9 powerhouses were like street thugs now. They punched and kicked. They did not even use their weapons. Their mentality was depleted. The divine weapon had been blown to God knows where. Without mentality, a divine weapon was just a slightly sharper weapon. It was more worthwhile to just hammer the other party to death. The three of them were fighting fiercely. Fong Ping did not look at them. Instead, he turned his head and took a look. Not far away, a few golden skeletons stood up. As expected, there were still rank 8 powerhouses. However, out of the 4 from earlier, only 2 were left now. The remaining 2 were either dead or had not recovered. For a moment, Fong Ping could not tell which of the 2 golden skeletons were from Startown and which were from the restricted area. Everyone had used up all their energy, HP, and mental power. Without these characteristic auras to distinguish them, he could not tell anything from the golden skeletons alone. The most important thing was that their clothes had long been destroyed. Fong Ping was not too familiar with them. How could he tell who was who? Fong Ping could not tell who was who. The 2 golden skeletons seemed to be at a loss too. They stood tens of meters away from each other, not moving for a moment. Then, the 2 skeletons looked at Fong Ping. At this moment, although Fong Ping was still hiding his aura, this skeleton that was also golden was still very eye-catching. Who was this person? 2 of the 3 skeletons looked at each other. Fong Ping did not move. He wanted to see if these 2 fellows could recognize that he was a living person. Chapter 509. Not far away, the 3 rank 9s were still fighting. On the other side, the 3 skeletons did not start fighting. They were probably not fully conscious. They were in a stalemate for a while. After a long time, the 2 golden skeletons probably recognized each other's identity. In the next moment, the 2 golden skeletons started fighting. As for the one on the side, it seemed to be dead. He did not care about it for now. This also meant that the 2 were not from the same family. However, when the 2 of them fought, it was also skeleton against skeleton. Clashing sounds were heard. Fong Ping really could not recognize who was from Stellar Sky City. Who is who? After a while, Fong Ping glanced at the skeleton on the left suspiciously. Don't ask him why he would be suspicious if his face was broken. Fong Ping did show a suspicious attitude. The one on the left looked a little like Liam O. He had seen Liam O a few times. He even had close contact with him in MCMAU. The skeleton on the left, with its flesh, looked a little like Liam O, right? After a while, Fong Ping confirmed it. The one on the left was Liam O. As the two started fighting, some dim, imperishable matter began to appear. This thing could also be used to distinguish auras. The skeleton on the left was Liam O. Fong Ping could not be bothered with the one on the right. At this moment, the two skeletons had very little imperishable matter. It was not golden, but dark gold. It seemed a little sparse. Too much imperishable matter had been consumed. This also caused both of them to be unable to recover their flesh. They could only continue fighting in this state. They've already become skeletons, but they're still fighting with such vigor. Sigh. Fong Ping sighed in his heart. He began to watch from the side. This time, he was prepared to watch the show until the end. Now it seemed like a rank 8 had died. Now that he had a golden skeleton, no one would care about him. He could openly watch people fight. 3 rank 9s and 2 rank 8s. The fight was vigorous. If they had energy and mentality, when these people fought, it would actually be more magic damage. But now, it had become physical damage. The collision of skeleton against skeleton, the collision of flesh against flesh. Even if they were all heavily injured, the fight was still extremely intense. Even at this stage, these people were still extremely powerful. Fong Ping watched for a while. He had a rough idea in his heart. According to this stance, he had a chance against the rank 8s. However, the 3 rank 9s at the side, Fong Ping felt that it might be difficult. Even though these 3 rank 9s were fighting to this extent, their abilities were still extremely terrifying. Their physiques had reached a terrifying realm. Fong Ping felt that even if he coordinated celestiality and used the chaos vanquishing saber, he might not be able to kill the other party. If we continue to fight until his body collapses, then I'll probably be able to reap the benefits. Fong Ping prayed in his heart. However, when he saw the rich life force on Rose King's body and that it was still recovering, Fong Ping felt like dying. Damn, how much life essence did this guy hide? How much did they consume? Rosette Queen continuously consumed her life essence to heal her wounds. The more she fought, the braver she became. Among the 3 of them, Tai Mu's injuries seemed to be the heaviest. Even though he was the first to run, he was tricked by Yu Ming and almost died. At this moment, seeing that Bamboo Life was becoming more and more courageous, Tai Mu roared in anger. Yang Daohong, if I die, you won't have it easy either. Kill him. Yang Daohong did not look too good. Tai Mu shouted angrily again. You want him to exhaust me to death? Fine, then let's die together. As he said this, Tai Mu actually stopped attacking Rose King and attacked Yang Daohong instead. Yang Daohong's expression was ice cold. Suddenly, he let out a cold roar, and a large amount of golden blood spurted out of his mouth. Yang Daohong spat blood as he roared, "Stop him!" Seeing this, Tai Mu seemed to heave a sigh of relief. He gritted his teeth and began to fight with Rose King, even though his flesh was collapsing again and again. Rose King's expression was ugly. He stared at Yang Daohong for a while, but he did not really understand what he was trying to do. People from Star Town rarely appeared in the small domain. In terms of familiarity, she was not as familiar with him as Tai Mu. At this moment, Yang Daohong kept spitting blood. The golden blood gathered in the air. Then, Yang Daohong dipped his finger in the blood and began to draw. In the blink of an eye, a suppress word appeared. Seeing this word, Rose King's expression changed drastically. He did not forget how terrifying it was when this word appeared beside Yang Daohong. Even the space cracks were suppressed. If it were not for the fact that there were too many cracks at the end and Pine King's immortal deity deliberately messing around, perhaps that suppress word could really suppress the rebellion of the sealed world. How can this be? Rose King shouted angrily. How could he still write this word? However, the next moment, Rose King's expression calmed down a little. He grabbed Tai Mu and tore off his remaining arm. Throwing it to the side, he said coldly, just as the word that Yang Daohong wrote did not have the invincible aura that could suppress everything. Young Daohong did not utter a word. At this moment, both of Tai Mu's arms had completely disappeared. Seeing this, he roared, "Quick! Yang Daohong, don't force me!" Yang Daohong was deliberately stalling for time. Hearing this, Yang Daohong's expression changed. He snorted coldly again, and the suppress word instantly condensed into a line. Then, it broke through the air and appeared in front of Rose King. Rose King was already prepared and immediately retreated. But at this moment, Rose King's expression changed. The suppress word instantly magnified countless times and directly covered him. What is this? Rose King was shocked and angry. This word was like a huge net covering him in an instant. The moment he was covered, Rose King found that his movements were a little sluggish. Even the energy in his body seemed to have stagnated. "Idiot!" Tai Mu sneered. How could the ultimate technique created by the 13 true monarchs of Stellar Sky City be so easily broken? At this moment, Rose King was constantly bombarding the golden word. Although the golden word was trembling, it still pressed down. "Tai Mu, let's do it together." Yang Daohong's face was as white as a sheet. He shouted, "Quick!" Tai Mu snorted coldly and didn't say anything else. Losing his arms didn't affect his movements at all. In the next moment, Tai Mu jumped onto the golden character and kicked down with all his might. The golden character pressed down faster and faster, starting to push the Rose King downwards. The energy crystal ground started to crack. At this moment, Rose King knew their goal. This word could not suppress him to death. They wanted to blast him into the sealed world. His spiritual energy was depleted. Once he was attacked by the sealed world again, his spiritual energy would be completely obliterated. Even if he was still alive, he would be a walking dead man. "Dream on?" Rose King roared. His life essence was consumed like it was worthless. Energy was condensed to the extreme, bombarding the golden word again and again. Yang Daohong's face turned paler and paler. Golden blood gushed out of his mouth, spraying toward the gradually dimming suppress word. As his blood flowed in, the suppress word exploded with intense golden light once again. Tai Mu, on the other hand, riveted with all his strength. His legs turned golden, and together with Yang Daohong, he suppressed Rose King. At this moment, Fong Ping was dumbfounded. What was this? Combat technique? Secret technique? Did Star City have this move? Using blood to write a word could suppress a rank 9? Rose King's mentality was depleted, but his energy was always full. He was not in peak condition, but he was still half a rank 9. How could he be suppressed by a word? Also, F***CK. Rose King was so extravagant. His life essence was almost seeping out of his body. That was not all. F***CK. This guy actually spewed out a stream of fountain of life. Then, the fountain of life exploded under his control. Boom! An explosion was heard. The golden word began to show signs of cracking. Yang Daohong, Tai Mu roared again. If this went on, Rose King would break free. Use destroy. Tai Mu knew Yang Daohong very well. At this moment, he started asking Yang Daohong to change his move. Yang Daohong's expression was extremely ugly. He said angrily, "Mentality has been depleted. I can't use it anymore." Tai Mu said angrily, "Then we'll wait to die together." As long as Rose King broke free, with his current condition, he could kill both of them. Yang Daohong glanced at Tai Mu and said coldly, "Then we'll die together. At this time, you still want to hide a backup plan. If you die, then so be it." Tai Mu's expression was uncertain. Then he gritted his teeth. Suddenly, a short axe appeared in front of him. Seeing this, Yang Daohong sneered. This guy said that his mentality was depleted, but in reality, he still had the strength for one last attack. He and Rose King's mentality were really depleted, but Tai Mu was not. This guy was at the periphery earlier. Although his injuries were also very serious, they were slightly lighter than theirs. Even the divine weapon could still be used. Once the divine weapon appeared, Yang Daohong said coldly, "If I can't kill him in one move, shove it in and self-destruct." Tai Mu's expression was ugly. He growled, "Self-destruct? If you withdraw the suppressed word, I'll die too." As he spoke, Tai Mu shouted, "You come up too. Let's suppress him together." Yang Daohong's expression kept changing, but soon he leaped into the air and flew onto the golden word. Seeing him come up, Tai Mu felt more at ease. He didn't care that he had no arms. He used his mentality to control the short axe to fly down. At this time, there were no restrictions. As soon as his short axe appeared, Rose King was already frightened and started to fight with all his might. Blow after blow was sent out. The golden word dimmed and cracked. Even through the words, Yang Daohong and Tai Mu kept coughing up blood. "Explode!" Yang Daohong shouted, ordering Tai Mu to self-destruct his divine weapon. Tai Mu's face was ashen. He didn't say anything. When the divine weapon fell under the suppress word, Tai Mu roared, and the divine weapon glowed with brilliant light. Rose King roared and gathered a large amount of life essence in his hands. This time, it wasn't to heal or recover from his injuries. Instead, it was mixed with the imperishable substance and started to erase the violent energy on the divine weapon. Even though he was madly erasing the violent energy, the divine weapon had an owner. Tai Mu controlled the self-destruction, so he couldn't stop it. Feeling danger approaching, Rose King was enraged. He suddenly stopped attacking the divine weapon. Instead, his body swelled into a giant. His arms exploded, and he clenched his fists, punching towards the suppressed word. One punch, another punch. The two people above had already coughed up blood. Their bodies were also starting to explode. Boom! Just as Rose King's suppressed word started to shatter, the divine weapon self-destructed. "Ah!" A scream rang out. This time, the range of the self-destruction was very small. It only happened within the area covered by the golden word. The ground collapsed, and a crystal-like barrier of the ceiling realm appeared. The divine weapon's self-destruction was compressed into this small area. In an instant, it caused a fierce counterattack from the ceiling realm. From afar, Fong Ping wanted to vomit blood as he watched. There was no other reason. Rose King, this old fellow, was attacked by the materialized mentality. When his body was destroyed, the life essence flowed around his body like water. It consumed the life essence madly to heal his injuries. However, the life essence could replenish energy and heal injuries. It had the function of reviving the dead. However, it was not very helpful for the recovery of mentality. As for the ceiling realm, it was mainly a mentality attack. Rose King's injuries were healing. However, his face was getting paler and paler. His eyes were starting to lose focus. Rumble! After a series of explosions, it finally ended. At this time, the golden word had already disappeared. Underground, in the deep pit, Rose King was blasted out. Golden blood flowed continuously from his 7 orifices. It was as if he had lost his life. Beside him, Yang Daohong and Tai Mu were not much better. Their faces were as white as paper. Their eyes were dull. These rank 9 have so many killer moves. This time, the counterattack was controlled within the suppression area of the golden word. It had nothing to do with Fong Ping and the others. However, Fong Ping was still a little shocked. Rank 9. Sure enough, they were not just for show. These guys were not dead yet. How many times had they been attacked? His trump cards came one after another. Do they still have killer moves? What else can they do? Fong Ping was still thinking about this problem. The 2 golden skeletons next to him stopped fighting. They ran toward Yang Daohong and the others together. Both of them passed by Fong Ping. However, they did not have time to deal with their compatriot. They ran toward the rank 9s without looking back. When the 2 golden skeletons ran over, Li Mo started attacking Tai Mu. The other one attacked Yang Daohong. Fong Ping watched for a while. He was a little sure that these guys had probably reached their limit. Now the 4 of them were in a chaotic battle. They were really using their bones and bodies to collide with each other. The key question was, did no one care about Rose King when the 4 of them were in a chaotic battle? He was not dead. Rose King was indeed not dead. However, rank 9s had their own judgment. Rose King might not be dead, but his mentality was almost completely obliterated. This guy was no different from a living dead. Kill the ones who were still conscious first. Two cripples and two skeletons were fighting fiercely. After a while, two more golden skeletons ran over from afar, charging toward them. Rank 8 was not dead. In the beginning, everyone was still fighting. When the other two golden skeletons joined the battle, the few of them fought even more fiercely. However, the next moment, two people and four skeletons stopped moving at the same time. In the distance, Fong Ping's golden skeleton was still there. Everyone was stunned. Mother asterisk Kerr. Was it an illusion? What was going on? Why was there an additional rank 8? The two people and four skeletons opposite looked at Fong Ping. Fong Ping also looked at them. He was also very speechless. I thought that two of them were dead. That's why I stayed here to watch the show. I didn't expect that they were still alive. Everything was fine. He could not just leave like that. Initially, everyone did not seem to care about him. Fong Ping was ready to retreat into the gravel. He did not expect to be discovered. At this moment, the scene was extremely strange. Yang Daohong and the others were about to break down. Who the F asterisk CK was this? Why was there an additional golden skeleton? Had it been there all along? Or had it just appeared? No, this was not a golden body powerhouse that had been dead for a long time. There was still some flesh and blood on its body. Its head was not completely smashed either. The most important thing was that fellow's eyeballs were still there. Mother asterisk Kerr. They were staring wide open. Damn it! Tai Mu roared furiously. In an instant, he distanced himself from everyone. He even distanced himself from the two skeletons beside him. At this moment, too many doubts arose in his heart. The two people beside him, were they really the two subordinates? 5 golden skeletons. There was an additional one. Who was real and who was fake? The skeleton in front, was it alive or dead? If it was alive, why did it not have any aura? If it was dead, why did everyone feel that it was still alive? This strange atmosphere lasted for a while. Yang Daohong's expression kept changing. He asked coldly, "Who are you, sir?" Hearing that, Tai Mu swept a glance at Yang Daohong. Yang Daohong coldly snorted and said, "He's not someone from Star Town." Next to Yang Daohong was a skeleton that Fong Ping identified as Liemo. After staring at Fong Ping for a while, suddenly, blood and flesh began to appear on the skull. Then, blood and flesh appeared on half of the skull. Then, Liemo, who had been silent all this while, said in a slightly hoarse voice, "You are?" There was a hint of uncertainty in his voice. Liemo thought of someone. Fong Ping. Fong Ping could restrain his aura and forge his golden bones. Many of the higher-ups didn't really care about this, and there weren't many people in Stellar Sky City who did. He had been to MCMU, though. He knew Fong Ping. But this was the domain of a domain. This was an extremely dangerous place. Even a 9th grade expert would die in this domain. Even a peerless expert had fallen. How could Fong Ping be here? How could this be? Fong Ping was only rank 5. No, I heard that he was already rank 6. He was only a rank 6. How was it possible for him to pass through thousands of miles of the catacombs territory, and even pass through the Forbidden Sea to arrive here? That was impossible. Liemo was a little doubtful and uncertain. Yang Daohong glanced at Liemo, but Liemo didn't say anything else. He really wasn't sure who was opposite him. Fong Ping, on the other hand, was still motionless. He wanted to try and see if playing dead would still work. The scene continued to be strange. After a moment, Tai Mu said coldly, "Yang Daohong, since he's not from Stellar Sky City, let's join forces and kill him." At this moment, everyone's combat strength was at its lowest. A rank 8 powerhouse was enough to change the current situation. The best way to deal with this kind of uncertainty was to kill him. At this moment, Fong Ping opened his mouth. His mouth opened and closed, his voice hoarse. "You trespass mausoleum cave deserve to die." His words were incomparably vague. The two words mausoleum cave were clear. This time, Yang Daohong's expression changed drastically because Fong Ping was speaking in Mandarin. Of course, it was very vague. even more so than speaking with a carrot in his mouth. But he still heard the two words, Mausoleum Cave. Senior, young Daohong was just about to speak when Fong Ping stood up. Without another word, he started attacking a rank 8 skeleton in the restricted area, his mouth shouting vaguely, "Kill!" Seeing this, young Daohong roared, "Kill these guys!" Liamo was a little dazed, but since young Daohong had said so, Liamo and the other person did not hesitate. Two skeletons quickly began to surround and kill another rank 8 powerhouse in the restricted area. Young Daohong, on the other hand, was excited to the point of madness and began to attack Tai Mu in a frenzy. Tai Mu was also extremely shocked, yelling angrily, "Tai Hung, do it! Tai Sun, don't kill him! Don't kill him!" He was talking about Fong Ping. There were actually living people in the bounded area. There were actually living people in the bounded area. This sentence, Tai Mu repeated in his heart countless times. There were actually living people here, not native monsters and plants, but living people. This was too shocking. If King Song knew about this, he would probably join forces with various kings and enter this place personally. It was not a big deal that they could not seize the true king's remains. As long as they captured this person, the credit would not be less than seizing the true king's remains, maybe even greater. This was a big deal that could shake the entire restricted area. Something big had really happened. In this boundary that had been sealed for countless years, there were actually living people. Maybe they were living dead, Tai Mu added in his heart. However, regardless of whether they were living or living dead, the other party still had intelligence, and that was enough. This time, the people on both sides went crazy. Fong Ping was also scared to the point of wanting to run. Mother asterisk her. The way these people looked at him was too scary. I was just saying it casually, and you guys took it seriously? Did the ancients speak the same way we do? I just wanted to prove that I might be the ancestor of mankind, so that the people of Star Town would not kill me. I did not expect that even the people of the restricted area would go crazy. I seem to have forgotten. These people also know Chinese. Maybe half-baked people would be more likely to believe it. Fong Ping was trembling a little. These guys' gazes were too evil. But then again, the rank 8 skeleton that was fighting him did not seem to dare to be too ruthless, being timid. For a moment, Fong Ping did not use celestiality or other powers, only relying on his skeletal frame to fight evenly with the other party. He was fighting evenly here, but on the other side, the other rank 8 in the restricted area was not the same. What Tai Mu meant by fighting was that he meant to perish together. This rank 8 called Tai Hung attacked both of them without fear of death, the golden color on his body getting thicker and thicker. So thick that, after a while, a loud bang was heard. They self-destructed. These restricted area powerhouses self-destructed like it was a game, even more ruthless than humans. The underground sealed boundary was bombarded once again. Boom! Li Mo and Tai Hung were already severely injured. At this moment, a brilliant golden light erupted. The next moment, two skeletons flew out, motionless, as if they had lost their lives. At this moment, everyone's mentality was depleted. Mentality attacks were the most terrifying killing moves. The other party did not want to live anymore, specifically attacking the sealed boundary. If they did not self-destruct, they were not prepared to live. Tai Mu did not care about this, neither did Yang Daohong. These two rank 9s were also fighting crazily, flesh and blood flying everywhere. One had lost a hand and a leg, the other had lost both arms. Right now, it was a competition of toughness. They were really using their skulls to hit each other, golden blood splattering everywhere. It was a tragic sight. Both of them roared madly as they fought. Tai Mu, ask your people to stop. Yang Daohong, back off, or else, if we can't get it, don't even think about getting it. Damn bastard. That's my human ancestor. Don't you dare. Although both of them were clamoring, they were fighting really ruthlessly, really viciously. At this moment, Fong Ping was silent. If he gave himself away now, he would be beaten to death by both of them. That should not be wrong, right? Chapter 510. The battle was still ongoing. The two rank 9s were really fighting with their lives on the line, even beginning to overdraft their imperishable substances to forcefully heal their injuries. As for Fong Ping, seeing that the rank 8 did not seem to dare to use too much force, he attacked with all his might. Although he did not use vitality force in terms of bone structure, although Fong Ping was not as good as a real rank 8, the gap was not too big. The other party had also fought for a long time, being overcautious. Under Fong Ping's frenzied attacks, the fight was spectacular. Both of them seemed to have some attitude of dawdling. This kind of battle went on for a very, very long time. So long that Yang Daohong and Tai Mu were almost turned into skeletons. At this point in the battle, both of them were still evenly matched. Fong Ping was a little speechless. Yang Daohong was quite arrogant when he came, prepared to fight 1 against 3. In the end, he fought Tai Mu and ended up like this. Fong Ping did not know that Yang Daohong's confidence in fighting 1 against 3 was related to that suppress word. It was different from King Pine's immortal spirit. Once King Pine's immortal spirit appeared, it would definitely be attacked. As for his suppressed word, if he was not tricked by King Pine, even if it appeared in the sealed realm, as long as he was careful, he would not be attacked. This was Yang Daohong's trump card that was made by Polaris City's Paragon ancestor. It was much stronger than what he made. Releasing a little of its power was enough to suppress a rank 9. Of course, this was prepared to be used after entering the bounded realm. The key was still the Paragon's corpse. Who knew? In the end, it would be tricked out in advance. Without this thing, Yang Daohong was not much stronger than Tai Mu. Both of them had fought hundreds of times in 60 years. It was enough to prove a lot of things that they did not die. Both of them fought until the end. Their speed slowed down, and their injuries became more and more serious. Fighting here could not replenish their consumption. They would only get weaker as they fought. At this time, both of them thought of the same thing. In the next moment, both of them attacked Rose King, who was lying on the ground. There was still a lot of life essence in Rose King's body. The energy stones could not keep up with their consumption speed. Only life essence could. Before this, both of them were actually prepared to wait until the winner was decided. Then they would snatch it and recover their injuries. But now, until now, there was still no winner. Then it would depend on who got the life essence first. The one who recovered their consumption would be the winner. The two of them circled around the Rose Queen and once again engaged in a life and death struggle. The Rose King, who was on the ground, was also affected by the two of them. His flesh and blood splattered everywhere, but he was still unconscious. Evidently, the previous mental attack had caused a fatal effect on him. As they fought, Fong Ping also noticed that the rank 8 skeleton opposite him was starting to lose its strength. Everyone didn't want to maintain their skeletal state like this. This was a sign that their injuries were extremely severe. Even the imperishable substance wasn't enough to restore their flesh and blood. When they were seriously injured, the longer they stayed, the weaker they would become. The rank 8 on the other side was weakened. Yang Daohong and his brother were also weakened. Seeing this, Fong Ping finally breathed a sigh of relief. In this state, if he used celestiality and mentality outbursts, these guys might not be his match. He glanced at Tai Mu out of the corner of his eye. He was going to beat this guy to death later. Yang Daohong was not easy to deal with. If he killed him, that would be too inhumane. There were not many rank 9 humans. If he killed him, that would be a sin. If he did not beat him to death, Fong Ping shuddered. When he returned to the human world, Yang Daohong would definitely know that he had tricked him. If that happened, wouldn't he come to MCMEU to settle the score? Was there anyone in MCMEU who could be his match? Old Wu had a divine weapon. He also had a genuine rank 9 divine weapon. Most likely he couldn't beat him. What should he do then? Fong Ping was still thinking about these when the rank 8 on the other side suddenly unleashed an outburst. A blow sent Fong Ping flying. Fong Ping wanted to fly up and fight again. In the next moment, Fong Ping could no longer fly up. It was as if he had fallen apart, lying on the ground, unmoving. The Rose King, who was initially like a dead person, suddenly exploded at this moment. With a loud roar, the energy in both his fists shook the heavens and the earth. When both fists came together, they enveloped Yang Daohong and his brother. Go to hell! Rose King's expression was ferocious. He hammered his fist down viciously. Boom! The sound of an explosion rang out instantly. The two half-skeletons were almost completely smashed. Rose King leaped into the air, throwing a punch at the rank 8 who was still fighting with Fong Ping earlier. This punch smashed the other party's skeleton directly. The bones scattered all over the ground. Rose King glanced at the motionless Fong Ping. He frowned slightly and did not look at him anymore. The other party's ability was average. He could not even defeat a rank 8 who was extremely weak. He was very weak. Even if he was in disguise, he did not care. At this moment, Rose King's face was deathly pale. His body was also covered in golden-yellow bloodstains. When the two rank 9s were fighting beside him earlier, he did not move at all. He did not even put up any defense. He was also severely injured. More importantly, his mentality was about to be completely obliterated. But he still waited for the opportunity. He waited for the opportunity when the two of them were extremely weak. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he finally became the final big winner. The two who were blasted away crashed into countless energy crystals, collapsing weakly on the ground. Tai Mu was in slight disbelief. He was also a little unwilling. He trembled and said, How could it be? Rank 9 powerhouses were not fools. If they were not sure of Rose King's state, they would not have fought to the death just to let him take advantage of it. Rose King's mentality had been obliterated. This was something that the two rank 9s had confirmed. He was just a living dead, even if his flesh had existed for thousands of years. So what? However, they did not expect that Rose King's mentality had not been obliterated. Why was that so? Rose King had been sullen since the opening of the Tianan catacombs until now. At this moment, he walked toward the two of them while coughing blood. He laughed and said, It has indeed obliterated my immortal god. But so what? In these 200 years, it's not like I did not get any good stuff. Green jade bore fruit 30 years ago. Cough, cough, cough. Tai Mu, you didn't expect this, did you? How could it be? Tai Mu was extremely unwilling. He muttered, Bear fruit. Even if it could bear fruit, why would it give it to you? Why not? We've been together for 200 years. I've already promised her that when I become a true king, I'll help her materialize and become an immortal couple. As soon as he said this, even though Yang Daohong and Tai Mu were facing a life-threatening crisis, their expressions were extremely strange. Tai Mu did not say anything. Yang Daohong mocked, Immortal couple? Monster plants? Do they have genders? City Lord Rose. What a joke. Ha! You actually want to ha-ha? What a joke. Yang Daohong was laughing so hard that he could not catch his breath. This was as unreliable as a human marrying a dog as a wife. No, there were male and female dogs. Monster plants did not even have a gender. The key was, until they reached the absolute peak, a monster plant was still a monster plant. Even if they reached the absolute peak, the so-called materialization was not the transformation into a human. It was just like Pine King's immortal god, where a human face would appear on the tree trunk. In other words, it was just a facade, but it could speak. It would not be like now, where they could only communicate with mentality. Of course, Pine King was not a monster plant. What appeared before was only the materialization of his mentality. It did not mean that he was a monster plant. Rose King's eyes were cold. He said lightly, "It's okay. I don't mind a dying man laughing at me." Behind him, Fong Ping did not laugh. He only glanced at Rose King. Villains die because they talk too much. Aren't you afraid that these two rank 9s will explode and kill you? However, Fong Ping felt a headache coming on. This fellow was alive again. After so many twists and turns, did he have to pretend to be a coward again? Even if he pretended to be a coward, he would still be in trouble later. If Rose King was in this state, he would probably be killed with one punch. Would a mentality attack work? Just as Fong Ping was thinking, Rose King did not waste any more words. He threw a punch, sending both of them flying dozens of meters away again. Their bones began to crack. These two people really did not have the strength to fight back anymore. Rose King knew Fong Ping better than him. Could it be that everyone was like him, with this life-saving treasure? This was not cabbage. Some rank 9 monster plants bore fruit, some did not. Originally, roses only bloomed, but did not bear fruit. In the end, 30 years ago, the rose spent most of its energy and life essence to condense a fruit, which was for him to save his life. 30 years ago, Rose City had already received news from the restricted area that they were going to open the Resurrection Passageway in the 11 Southern Territories. Once the Resurrection Passageway was opened, according to the locations of the passageways opened in other territories, Rose City might be the first line. Faced with such danger, the rose did not care about the consequences. Only then did it bear this fruit. His bamboo life had this kind of opportunity. Could it be that these two also had it? Rose King did not care about these. He continued to attack again and again, again and again. Rank 9 powerhouses were hard to kill, especially now. He could not erase the other party's mentality, nor could he erase the other party's imperishable substance. He could only rely on breaking all of their bones to kill them. The bones of the two rank 9s began to crack. Yang Daohong could still speak at this moment. He looked in the direction where Fong Ping was, his eyes revealing a hint of sorrow. He let out a long howl toward the sky, smashing his head into the ground. In the next moment, he was sent flying by a kick from Rose King. If he wanted to touch the sealed world, he would have to see if there was a chance. After kicking the other party, Rose King seemed to remember something. He suddenly sneered, picked up the two of them, and was about to throw them high up in the sky. There was a space rift high up in the sky. He almost forgot about this. This was the best way to kill. Just as he was about to throw them, Fong Ping began to consider whether he should attack. Yang Daohong was a rank 9 powerhouse after all. It was not worth it to die here just like this. Fong Ping did not want to fight him head-on. He was only thinking if he should bombard the sealed world with mentality and let the sealed world retaliate. However, if he did that, the probability of Yang Daohong dying together with him was not small. Of course, at this point, whether he lived or died depended on his luck. Just as Fong Ping was about to act, the sealed world retaliated. In an instant, an intense mentality attack erupted from under Rose King's feet. Ah! Rose King screamed. This time, he did not even have time to defend. Fong Ping was stunned. What now? Rose King was still screaming. The two broken skeletons in his hands seemed to have died completely, and he threw them aside. In the distance, a figure walked out of the ruins slowly. He looked at Rose King, chuckling. King, it's me. Ching Hong. Rose King's eyes were dim. At this moment, he was extremely unwilling, even more unwilling than Tai Mu and the rest. They had fought until now, and they had used all their trump cards. In the end, he actually fell in the hands of his own people. Ching Hong, the second batch of rank 7 martial artists from Rose City, who escorted human martial artists to the boundaries. The rank 7 that Tai Mu and the rest left behind was him. Because he was from Rose City, Tai Mu did not really trust him. During a battle, an unfamiliar rank 7 was not enough to make them feel at ease. And because of this person actually escaped from the previous few battles and did not die. King, I didn't expect it to be like this. Commander Ching Hong sighed and said softly, for monarchs, for venerables, I didn't expect. The one who survived in the end is me. Ching Hong's face was flushed. He could not help but look greedy, murmuring, so many divine weapons, your monarch's divine weapon, Yang Daohong's monarch's divine weapon, rank 8 divine weapons, rank 7 divine weapons, and your heart core, their heart cores and brain cores, including your flesh and blood, bones, and the fountain of life in your body. King, I want to enter the king's territory too, build a city that belongs to me, call myself a king. Perhaps I can enter the boundaries and find the remains of a true king. King, I don't want that either. As Ching Hong spoke, he did not move forward. He was worried that Rose King still had the strength to attack. Ching Hong unleashed his mentality again and began to attack the ceiling boundary. The drama played out one scene after another. Even Fong Ping was dumbfounded as he watched. Rose King schemed against Yang Daohong and the rest, but in the end, he was schemed against by his subordinate. In the end, so many high-rank powerhouses were taken advantage of by this rank 7. Qing Hong attacked the ceiling boundary. He was bleeding from his 7 orifices. His mentality was exploding. He could not avoid those explosive mentality attacks. But he did not care. After killing all these people, he could think of a way to enter the boundary's inner area with the benefits. He could also think of a way to leave this place and fly far away. Rank 7 was not too eye-catching. After the repeated attacks, Rose King's mentality had long been depleted. He only relied on the rank 9 divine fruit to maintain his mentality. However, at this moment, after being attacked repeatedly, Rose King was really going to die. Rose King was unwilling, angry, and in disbelief. Too many emotions made him explode. He defeated everyone. Seeing that victory was at the last step, a nobody that he had neglected and disregarded actually schemed against him. After thinking about it, in the end, he had made a wedding dress for others. Qing Hong. An extremely unwilling and sorrowful cry sounded. In the next moment, Rose King, who was on the verge of death, widened his eyes and stared at Qing Hong. Or, in other words, behind him, behind Qing Hong, a golden skeleton floated in midair, tiptoeing, or perhaps in an extremely wretched manner. It was holding a broadsword and aiming at Qing Hong's head, getting ready to slash down. And Qing Hong knew nothing. That skeleton, an unfamiliar rank 8 powerhouse, a rank 8 from the boundaries? Rose King's thoughts were already in a mess, but it did not stop him from thinking about it. Qing Hong? Was he going to die? This B***starred schemed against him, and in the end, he made a wedding dress for others? At this moment, Rose King only felt that it was funny. He only felt that it was infinitely funny and pathetic. So many people died here, lost their lives, schemed against all living beings, and in the end, fell into the hands of an unknown skeleton. Rose King's expression was too complicated. It was so complicated that Qing Hong chuckled and said, "King, rest in peace. When I enter the King realm, I will help you take care of the guardian." Ha ha. This intermittent laughter came from Rose King's mouth. He saw it. He saw the broadsword falling. He saw that the saber was filled with the boundless power of heaven and earth, and it fell silently just like that. Qing Hong, this traitor, only cared about bombarding him with the immortal deity. How stupid, how funny, how sad. Boom! A huge explosion sounded. Qing Hong was only an upper stage rank 7. Upper stage meant that he had not honed his skull. In this place full of golden skeleton martial artists, a martial artist who had not honed his skull was hit in the head by a broadsword filled with close to 100 celestiality. One could imagine the consequences. His head exploded instantly. Until death, Qing Hong did not know what happened. Ha ha ha. Chapter 5:11. Rose King was still laughing maniacally. In the next moment, the skeleton continued Qing Hong's work, using his mentality to bombard the sealed boundary. However, Fong Ping had learned from the previous 2's lessons. While bombarding, his mentality swept everywhere. He was lacking in everything but mentality. Explode. Anyway, he had long lost consciousness from the explosions. The pain was almost gone. It was better than being killed by someone's scheme. He not only bombarded Rose King's side, but also Yang Daohong and Tai Mu's side. He did not even spare the few rank 8 skeletons that had fallen to the ground, bombarding everywhere. Fong Ping's mentality was constantly being crushed, but Fong Ping did not care, continuing to bombard. He did not even spare the people of Star City. Of course, the bombardment strength was slightly lesser. Who knew if these people would suddenly explode and kill him at once? Even if he really killed these people by mistake, Fong Ping might blame himself, but he would never regret it. Without him, these people would still be dead. With him around, these people might not die, but at least he had to ensure that the other party did not have any strength to fight back. Trespassing into the heavenly court. All of you deserve to die. Disturbing the heavenly emperor's slumber. Unforgivable. In the past, Even the demon emperor did not dare to trespass here. All of you deserve to die. Rose King's dim gaze revealed an extremely shocked expression. Demon Emperor, Heavenly Court, shocking inside story. Inside story involving the Demon Emperor era. Involved the boundaries. Involved the sinking of God continent. Involved too many shocking inside stories that disappeared in history. Unfortunately, he did not have the chance to ask, to understand. With infinite regret, the next moment, Rose King's gaze dimmed completely. The life force on his body was still circulating, but his mentality was completely extinguished. If no one touched his body now, perhaps thousands of years later, Rose King could also come back to life and live again. Beside him, Taimu's skeleton moved slightly, as if he had heard the news too. At this moment, he was still alive. However, not long after, Taimu also fell into a dead silence. Perhaps he felt regret too. What exactly happened during the Demon Emperor era? This was a top secret that not even many people in the restricted zone knew about. And those who knew were not people they could see. Even the two kings who knew the inside story, whether they were still alive or not, was still a question. The opportunity to unveil the mysterious veil was right in front of him, but he would never have the chance to know. There were definitely many regrets. Yang Daohong, on the other hand, hadn't moved at all. Perhaps he was already dead. Fong Ping did not care whether they were dead or not. He continued to attack. If he had to come back to life again, he couldn't afford to lose. In the end, Fong Ping was completely dazed. How many times had his mentality exploded during this trip to the catacombs? 30 times? 50 times? Or more? Who cares, as long as he doesn't die? While he was in a trance, Fong Ping slashed with his saber. Beside his ear, there seemed to be a series of shouts coming from a faraway place. Fong Ping! Fong Ping, stop! Fong Ping, wake up! Stop! Fong Ping, you don't want the loot anymore? You've destroyed the divine weapon and the life essence. Fong Ping, your parents and sister are waiting for you to return. Fong Ping's cloudy eyes regained some clarity. Wang Jinyang's face appeared before his eyes. Oh, Wang, are they all dead? Dead. They're all dead. Oh, keep the things well, hide immediately. Be careful of the monster plants and beasts coming back. I don't know if they're dead or alive. Remember to find their corpses to confirm their deaths. Fong Ping spoke intermittently for a while. Then his vision went black and he fell into a coma. Wang Jinyang held him, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. This guy was still thinking about these things at a time like this. He looked at the skeletons, corpses, golden bones around him. Wang Jinyang felt like he was still in a dream. Motherf asterisk her, he had healed himself. He crawled out from the rubble and saw Fong Ping attacking the sealed boundary continuously. Below the ground, there were golden bones everywhere. Wang Jinyang was completely dumbfounded. What was going on? These people did not seem to have died in the big explosion earlier. There were many traces of battle later on. How did they die? He was in a daze when he healed himself earlier. He was not really conscious. The only thing he knew was that Fong Ping was not dead. Not only did this guy not die, but he seemed to have become the final winner. In a desperate fight between a group of rank 7, 8, and 9 powerhouses, Fong Ping actually won in the end. Wang Jinyang still could not believe it. The darkness lasted for a long time. Fong Ping did not know how long he had slept and how long he had been unconscious. When he woke up again, the sky was still bright. He did not know if it was the arrival of a new day or if he had just fallen asleep. You're awake? Beside him, Wang Jinyang's hoarse voice rang. Fong Ping opened his eyes. At this moment, Fong Ping was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. There was no part of his body that did not hurt. He wailed, City Lord Rose's life essence. Why didn't she give it to me? It was too painful. His head was about to explode. His body was about to explode. In short, it was so painful that Fong Ping wanted to roll on the ground. Wang Jinyang said helplessly, I can't break his flesh. I can't extract life essence. His words were full of sorrow. He really could not break it. Among all the rank 9s, only Rose King's flesh remained intact. Moreover, it was always in the period of abundant energy. His condition did not deteriorate. The only flaw was that his mentality was obliterated. After Wang Jinyang healed himself, he entered peak rank 5. However, even if he was peak rank 5 and picked up a divine weapon and hacked for a long time, he still could not break Rose King's flesh. If he could not break the flesh, how could he extract life essence? As soon as he said that, Fang Ping was stunned. He endured the pain and said, "Can't break the flesh?" "Nonsense," Wang Jinyang said weakly. "I don't have celestiality. Do you think it's possible to break a rank 9's flesh with vitality force? Besides, in this place, every bit of vitality I expend means a bit less. I don't dare to exhaust all of it. If I can't break it, I didn't try. Luckily, you're finally awake." At this moment, Fang Ping remembered the purpose of entering the catacombs this time. He said immediately, "Instructor Zhang and the others." Wang Jinyang sighed softly. "I found them, but they're all unconscious. Out of 6 people, 4 are dead. Only my instructor and another rank 6 martial artist are still alive. I'm not too familiar with them, but their mentality suffered heavy damage. I'm afraid it'll be difficult for them to recover." As he said that, Wang Jinyang gritted his teeth and said in a low voice, "Fang Ping, I know that Instructor Li was also injured by a rank 9's mentality. He couldn't recover. Later, you helped him recover. If Wang Jinyang was too embarrassed to continue. If his injuries were really the same as Li Chongqing's, then the life essence consumed would not be a small amount, and it might not even work. Back then, Old Man Li's mentality was really broken and rebuilt. Whether his mentality recovered because of the life essence or something else, that was uncertain. Letting Zhang Qingnian do the same thing was definitely not reliable. The probability of him dying was even higher. Zhang Qingnian did not have a semi-golden body. Therefore, perhaps consuming a large amount of life essence might not be useful. Moreover, the life essence was still in the rank 9 powerhouse's body. It was also uncertain how much was left. These were all Fang Ping's. Wang Jinyang had never thought of occupying them. He was not that kind of person. If he really thought about it, perhaps when Fang Ping was unconscious, he was the biggest winner in life. Fang Ping patted his shattered skull, saying weakly, "We'll talk about this later. I'm about to die. Since Instructor Zhang's mentality is only injured, then don't worry about it for now. Think of a way to revive me first." Having said that, Fang Ping struggled to stand up. He looked around and frowned, saying, "Why are we still here? Don't talk about it. Don't leave this place no matter what. Because of the great battle here, there are many rank 9's. In addition, there have been many counterattacks from the sealed world. That's why the monsters and plants don't dare to come here for now. Other places are full of monsters and plants. I went out to take a look. There are many of them." Wang Jinyang was helpless too. He was ready to leave with his men. In the end, he had not gone far when he was scared back. This place was too dangerous. Fang Ping said nothing more. He looked around and saw a pile of golden skeletons not far away. He asked, "Are there still people alive?" Wang Jinyang shook his head. "I don't know. Whether these people are dead or not, I can't release my mentality, so I can't feel it. Even if they're not dead, I can't do anything to them. Without mentality suppression, I can't kill these people, even if they're the living dead." These words made him sad again. It was fine if he could not break a rank 9's torso. He could not even cut a rank 8 skeleton. If he really unleashed his full strength, he might be able to cut it. However, if he broke a skeleton, his vitality would probably be depleted. Having said that, Wang Jinyang's expression was solemn. "You killed the people from Star Town as well?" Fang Ping said innocently, "Don't wrongly accuse me. Am I that kind of person? They fought on their own. It has nothing to do with me. After that, I saw that they were all dead. When the sealed boundary erupted, it's not like I can control the direction. It's an all-encompassing attack. If someone was still breathing and I killed them by mistake, then there's nothing I can do. I can't control this. When that happens, if they don't die, I'll be the one who dies." Wang Jinyang frowned. "I know, but if this gets out, I'm afraid Star Town won't let this go easily." Fong Ping felt a headache coming on. There's nothing I can do. What can I do about this? As he said that, Fong Ping shook his head. Forget it. I'll try to see if there's anyone alive first. Having said that, Fong Ping walked forward and started activating the storage space. Some golden skeletons, including the Rose King's corpse, were put into the storage space. Underground, however, there were still a few skeletons left. They're really not dead. They're not dead even after all this. These fellows' vitality is terrifying. Fong Ping was shocked. The survivability of rank 8 and 9 powerhouses was too strong. At this moment, there were still 2 golden skeletons underground. There was no Yang Daohong. Yang Daohong was really dead. Fong Ping was actually a little upset. He did not know if Yang Daohong was killed by himself, or if he had died when the Rose King attacked, or if he had died when Qing Hong attacked. But no matter what, Yang Daohong was indeed dead. Even his skeleton had been put into the storage space by Fong Ping. The 2 who were alive were the other 2 rank 8s in Star Town. Both of them had been sent flying by the rank 8 self-explosion. After that, there were no signs of them. When Fong Ping attacked the seal boundary later, although he had also attacked them, the attack force was not too strong. Both of them were actually not dead. Liu Mo and this one are still alive. Unbelievable. As Fong Ping said that, he felt a headache coming on, but it's hard to tell if they're dead or alive. Should I leave them here or bring them back? If I bring them back, it'll be hard to explain. The rank 9 Yang Daohong was dead. The few rank 7s were completely annihilated. The remaining 2 rank 8s were also beaten into this state. It was hard to say if they could recover. If they brought them back, it would be hard to explain if they could not survive. If they survived, it would be hard to explain. Fong Ping's head hurt. Wang Jinyang frowned slightly too. After a while, he said, "What should we do?" "I don't know." Fong Ping sighed. "Kill them to keep them quiet?" 2 rank 8s. They're considered the high-end combat strength of mankind. But why should we kill them to keep them quiet? Fong Ping said gloomily, "I didn't kill Grandmaster Yang." Wang Jinyang frowned. "You think that way, but they might not think the same way." Fong Ping rubbed his chin, thankful that it was a little uncomfortable. He gave up on rubbing his chin and said, "Let me think about the situation." These 2 fellows were blasted away not long after I appeared. At that time, Grandmaster Yang was still fighting Tai Mu one-on-one. Logically, he shouldn't have thought of me. But, Fong Ping said a little sheepishly, "But I said something. These fellows might have treated me as a living person from the bounded domain. Do you think they'll kill me if they know the situation?" Wang Jinyang's head hurt. "This fellow, that's enough." Too lazy to say anything else, Wang Jinyang said in a low voice, "That's nothing. In order to save my life, what's wrong with saying something? Did they see you attacking the sealed world and bombarding those rank 9s? No. That's good." Wang Jinyang breathed a sigh of relief. He exhaled and said, "Then it's not a big problem. Grandmaster Yang and Tai Mu fought each other, and both of them died in battle." Fong Ping coughed dryly. "It's more complicated than that. Both of them fought until they were half dead. Rose City Lord faked her death and resurrected, killing both of them. Then a Rose City Commander-in-Chief appeared and killed Rose City Lord. Then I killed that Commander-in-Chief. This is the real situation." Wang Jinyang was dumbfounded. So complicated. This was a chain of events, and in the end, Fong Ping had the upper hand. If that was the case, Wang Jinyang said immediately, "That means that Grandmaster Yang died in the hands of Rose City Lord. This is also the truth. You didn't attack Grandmaster Yang directly, did you?" "No. His body is still here. As long as we bring it back, everyone will be able to see how he died. It has nothing to do with you, so we don't have to worry." Fong Ping sighed. "I'm just afraid that those paragons will go crazy. They might not care about this. They might even want us to pay with our lives. Old Wang, this is a little tricky. Tell me, should we cough, you know what I mean?" Wang Jinyang said in a low voice, "Although it's a little risky. Fong Ping, killing 2 rank 8 human powerhouses. After all, the Patriarch of Star City has been suppressing Imperial Sea Mountain for humans for hundreds of years. It's better not to do this. Before this, Old Wang was worried about Star City's attitude. Now, however, knowing the real situation, Old Wang changed his attitude. He continued, if the Paragons can't even distinguish between right and wrong and insist on finding trouble with us, then they'll die. Wang Jinyang frowned slightly. I know, but we can't afford to gamble now. Fong Ping, we're here. Although only the four of us know, besides, my instructor is here too. Don't tell me that even my instructor. As soon as these words came out, Fong Ping remembered instantly. Yes, Zhang Qingnan and the other rank 6 martial artists were still alive. Unless they killed both of them to silence them too. Otherwise, the news of them coming to the bounded zones could not be kept a secret. Since it could not be kept a secret, Fong Ping suddenly cursed. It has nothing to do with me in the first place. At least I saved 2 rank 8s. If the Paragons really want to find trouble, unless they kill me directly in the human world, I'll hide in the catacombs and hide my aura. Sooner or later, I'll fight them to the end. Wang Jinyang laughed. There's no need to be so pessimistic. Actually, even if you say you killed a rank 9, no one will believe you. Fong Ping said gloomily, but I'm really going to say that I killed a few rank 9s. 3 in the restricted area, 1 in Rose City. This time I killed 4 rank 9s and a bunch of rank 7s. Are you asking me to hide the news? Wang Jinyang said casually, no, you can say whatever you want. The key is whether everyone believes it or not. If you bring the skeletal remains back, other than the rank 7 that you killed, it's not like we can't find out how the others died. That makes sense. Fong Ping was a little embarrassed. Yes, he really thought too much. Rank 9s. In the eyes of the rank 9, these people would not be able to break their defense even if they just stood there and let them hack at them. Even if Fong Ping had celestiality, he could not hack at a living rank 9. If he hacked at a rank 9, maybe he would be shocked to death in the end. No one would believe this boast if he boasted it out. But it was true. The Rose City Lord died in his hands. At least he was still alive at that time. Taimu was also alive, still breathing. He really killed these 2 rank 9s. But if he said it out, only a ghost would believe him. Old Wang, I really killed 2 rank 9s. I believe you, Wang Jinyang said, then said helplessly, it's useless for you to tell me. It'll only work if others believe you. Motherf asterisk Kerr, no one believes the truth. What the hell? Fong Ping felt like vomiting blood. However, in the next moment, Fong Ping did not care anymore. He quickly ran toward a place not far away, picked up a long sword on the ground, and said ecstatically, the Rose City Lord's divine weapon. Wang Jinyang followed him, saying, I found a total of 4 divine weapons. Just 4? Fong Ping looked over hurriedly. On the ground, there were still 3 divine weapons thrown on the ground like scrap metal. Old Wang was not in the mood to clean them up at all. If Fong Ping did not insist that he clean them up before he fainted, he would not even bother to look for them. Just 4. Wang Jinyang shook his head, saying, for some people, when they die, if the divine weapon is not outside but inside the Sanjiao gate, then it's gone. There's no other way. The divine weapon was hidden in the Sanjiao gate. Once the person died, the divine weapon was not placed outside. Then it would disappear along with the Sanjiao gate. This thing was very mysterious. Moreover, this time, among the rank 9 powerhouses, Tai Mu and Yumming's divine weapons had both self-destructed. Fong Ping suddenly thought of Yang Daohong's divine weapon. As expected, there was still a rank 9 divine weapon that belonged to Yang Daohong Underground. In that case, he had obtained 3 divine weapons, a rank 9 long sword, a rank 8 broadsword, and a rank 7 axe. As for the Li Mo duo's divine weapons, they seemed to have kept them themselves. Otherwise, they were lost. If they had kept them, then they could not be found in the Sanjiao gate. At this moment, Fong Ping was both disappointed and pleasantly surprised. He was disappointed that the other divine weapons had either self-destructed or disappeared along with the person's death. He was delighted that the rank 9 divine weapon of the City Lord of Rose City was not kept in the Sanjiao gate. This was also related to the fact that his mentality had perished and could not be kept away. Otherwise, If he had lost this rank 9 divine weapon, he would really regret it to death. As for Yang Daohong's divine weapon, it looked like a spear, but was not. It was a little similar to a halberd. It should be a unique weapon. If he really did not kill them to keep them quiet, this thing would have to be returned to Star City. He would not be able to get it. There are only 3 divine weapons. What a pity! Fong Ping was full of regrets. He thought that he could at least get 7 or 8 this time. After that, Fong Ping continued to look for other gains. A large number of energy stones, all of them high-ranked. These people had brought a lot of energy stones when they entered the bounded zones to replenish their consumption. The quality of the energy stones used by rank 9 powerhouses was really high. Fong Ping suspected that they had reached 95% purity and above. During the battle, these things were scattered all over the ground. Old One only picked some up casually. He did not really look for them. In fact, there were still many scattered in the city, and the one in front of him was at least a few dozen caddies. These things were valuable goods. 2 rank 8 skeletons and a rank 8 golden body. They could be worshipped as gods. A rank 9 skeleton. Fong Ping did not count Yang Daohong. He was talking about Ironwood. He did not count Rose King either. Rose King's physical body was intact. The use of such a rank 9 powerhouse's corpse was immeasurable. It was very rare for humans to kill a catacomb's rank 9. In other words, it was almost impossible to get a complete corpse. Not only that, there was still a large amount of life essence sealed in Rose King's body. As for the exact amount, it was not clear yet. An unknown amount of life essence, 3 divine weapons, a few dozen caddies of rank 9 energy stones, a rank 9 skeleton, a complete rank 9 corpse, 2 rank 8 skeletons. Fong Ping calculated for a while and said, "No, at least the corpse is useful. Do you think powerhouses can open a dead person's Sanjiao gate? If they can, then there must be divine weapons. I don't know." Wang Jinyang shook his head. He could not help but say, "Are you still not satisfied? Why do you need so many divine weapons? You have all the rank 7, 8, and 9 divine weapons. Nonsense. The more of these things, the better. Who would complain about having more?" Having said that, Fong Ping released Rose King's corpse. Looking at Rose King, who seemed to be in a deep sleep, Fong Ping could not help but say, "This guy, do you think he can really be resurrected?" "I'm not sure." Wang Jinyang shook his head, frowning. "Can catacombs martial artists who die in the catacombs be resurrected too? His body is still very complete. It's just that his mentality is dead. If new mentality is born in this corpse, do you think he can be resurrected? Will you give him this chance?" "Of course not," Fong Ping said, gritting his teeth. "This guy drinks life essence like water and wastes it casually. I don't know how much of my life essence he has wasted. I'll kill him even if he's resurrected. Stand aside. I'll break open his body and take it out to see how much is left." As he said that, Fong Ping picked up the rank 9 long sword in his hand. Celestiality emanated, and he slashed. Bang! With a loud bang, Fong Ping flew backward. Rose King's corpse had a small cut, but it healed in an instant. Fong Ping was dumbstruck. He was already dead, yet he could not cut it? It was not that he could not cut it, but the life essence in his body was still flowing away. It was actually repairing his flesh. Motherf Astris Kerr. How much was this wasted? No. I have to break it open and take it out as soon as possible. Otherwise, it'll really be all gone. Fong Ping's flesh twitched painfully. Although he did not have much flesh left, the pain was excruciating. What was in his hands was flowing away continuously. How could he endure it? This was money. Its value was immeasurable. He had not even repaired his own flesh. Was it not a waste to repair a dead person's flesh now? Without another word, Fong Ping began to condense a large amount of celestiality. Since his flesh was gone, he did not have to worry about his flesh collapsing anymore. Fong Ping began to slash wildly. The sound of metal slashing could be heard continuously. Beside him, Wang Jinyang shook his head as he watched. The sorrow of the weak. Who would believe you if you said you killed a rank 9? Fong Ping had even condensed celestiality. That was why he could break the defense. His bone marrow force penetrated his body. He could probably break the defense, but he might not be able to recover as fast as the other. Ignoring Fong Ping, Old Wang walked to the side. His teacher was still there. Looking at the unconscious Zhang Qingnan and the other rank 6 martial artist, Wang Jinyang sighed softly in his heart. Teacher, oh teacher, do you know that this time for you a certain someone has tricked a large number of high ranks to death? His combat strength is almost on par with 2 royal cities' high ranks. Chapter 512. Ancient City. Fong Ping slashed and slashed wildly. Finally, he managed to open a hole in Rose King's chest. Although there was a hole, the flesh was still healing. It was terrifying. Inside Rose King's body, there was a green, emerald-like crystallized body. At this moment, this crystallized body was like a deflated balloon, constantly losing life essence. When Rose King was alive, she could still use mentality to seal it. Now that she was dead, it was still fine inside her body, sealed by the rank 9 impermeable body. Now that there was a hole, the speed of leakage was obviously increasing. There was originally no energy around Fong Ping. Now, it was densely packed with energy. Roar! A monster's roar was heard. Fong Ping's expression changed. In the land of boundaries, energy was what monsters and plants valued the most. At this time, the leakage of energy was so severe that the monsters that had gone far away started to become restless. Fong Ping hurriedly took out a huge bottle made of energy crystals from his storage space. He grabbed the green crystallized body and stuffed it into the bottle. As soon as the crystallized body entered the bottle, it quickly turned into a liquid-like substance. Moreover, it was still coming out and spreading. Fong Ping hurriedly took out a few more energy crystal bottles. These things were not too valuable. Before he came in, he had prepared a lot of them. It was not that he had specially prepared them to store life essence, but that he had kept them in reserve. Whether it was life essence or some energy fruits, storing them in this thing could ensure that the energy would not spread to the maximum. As he stored them, Fong Ping said ecstatically, "I'm rich. I'm really rich. So much life essence." Although this crystallized body looked like it was only the size of a fist in Rose King's body, when it turned into liquid, it filled up 3 whole bottles. Beside him, Wang Jinyang's attention was also attracted. He could not help but ask, "How much is there?" He had never seen so much life essence. Last time in Nanjiang's catacombs, Fong Ping got a small drop. He, Qin Fengqing, and the others were dying to have it. Now it was more than a small drop. As he said that, Wang Jinyang could not help but ask, "Why did City Lord Rose bring so much out? Don't tell me she took out all her belongings?" Fong Ping was overjoyed. He could not help but scold. This fellow used at least half. Fong Ping was extremely indignant about how wasteful the Rose King was. When this guy was fighting others, he used them without holding back at all. He was even more wasteful than Old Man Li last time. He was too extravagant. Despite his scolding, Fong Ping still shook his head and said, "I don't think it's everything. There's still quite a lot in Rose City. Didn't Rose City say that it had been around for 200 years? Even if some were used up in the beginning and some later on, it's still more than that." Fong Ping weighed the 3 big bottles in his hands. Excluding the weight of the bottles, the life essence was about 150 caddies. 150 kilograms was only 75 kilograms. Even though the Rose King had used up a lot of it, it was only about 300 to 400 kilograms. The last time Fong Ping went to gigantic Willow City to steal life essence, he did not steal much. He only stole a few hundred caddies. The history of gigantic Willow City did not seem to be as long as that of Rose City. In that case, Rose City should have more history. Of course, there was also the possibility that Rose City would use it a lot over time. However, in Fong Ping's opinion, Rose City definitely had up to 1,000 caddies of life essence. The City Lord of Rose City probably did not take it all away. After all, the rank 9 monster plant monster needed it too. Fong Ping did not know that the Rose King had indeed taken it all away. The huge Rose City, after accumulating for so many years, indeed only had this much life essence. This was not the accumulation of 200 years, but the accumulation of 30 years. The life essence from before was used up 30 years ago. In the end, all that was exchanged for was a fruit that could save a rank 9's life. After mentality was extinguished, swallowing this fruit could allow one to live again. An energy fruit like this could not even be called an energy fruit. It was a real divine fruit. When mentality was extinguished, even if it was a rank 9 powerhouse, it was almost certain death. Even a peerless powerhouse would not be able to save them. However, the Rose King came back to life under such circumstances. This was still within the boundaries. If it was in the outside world, the effect might be better if the Rose King digested this divine fruit. Using more than 100 years of accumulated life essence in exchange for a chance to save one's life was something any city lord would be willing to do. In reality, almost no one could do it. If a rank 9 monster plant monster condensed such a divine fruit, its vitality would also be greatly damaged. In these 30 years, the Rose in Rose City had actually spent a long time healing. The speed at which it condensed life essence had slowed down. A part of it was used to heal itself. Naturally, Fong Ping was not aware of all this. He did hear the city lord of Rose City mention this, but Fong Ping did not think much about it. He also did not know what it meant for a rank 9 monster plant, a monster plant that only bloomed but did not bear fruit, to condense a life-saving fruit. If he knew, Fong Ping would probably continue to hack the corpse in front of him 1,000 times. An immeasurably valuable divine fruit was eaten by this fellow, just like that. At this moment, Fong Ping did not have time to think about this. He was calculating how much wealth he could earn this time. The official price of life essence was 10 million per gram. Of course, that was only the official price. Last time in Nanjiang Catacombs, Fong Ping was left with more than 200 grams of life essence, which increased his wealth by 2 billion. The value given by the system was about 5 million per gram. As for the actual amount, although Fong Ping later exchanged some from the officials, because there was no increase in wealth, the system also did not calculate wealth for him, so he really did not know how much it was worth. However, 5 million per gram was probably not much of a difference. This time, he obtained about 75 kilograms. Fong Ping almost swallowed his saliva. How much was this? 5 billion per kilogram. Did that not mean about 375 billion? So much. In addition to the 3 divine weapons, a rank 7 divine weapon would be worth between 10 to 15 billion. A rank 8 would be at least 30 to 50 billion. A rank 9 would be even more expensive. Under normal circumstances, no one would sell rank 9 divine weapons. It was also impossible to buy them. A rank 9 divine weapon needed to kill a rank 9 monster plant monster, and it had to be intact. In this world, other than those at the top, how many people could do it? Its value was probably hundreds of billions. In this way, the 3 divine weapons would probably be worth 150 billion. This was not all. Rank 9 skeletons, Rose King's corpse, rank 8 skeletons, these things were hard to calculate. Dead people, the system actually did not count as value. Just like when Fong Ping dug out the catacombs' martial artist's energy heart, it did not count as wealth. However, since he sold it, it was counted as money. When he was in Magic City Catacombs, Fong Ping and Qin Fengqing worked together and dug out the martial artist's heart. However, Fong Ping did not want it, throwing it all to Qin Fengqing. Rose King and Tai Mu's skeletons, such rank 9 corpses if sold, would probably fetch a high price, right? Even if these skeletons were not included, just the life essence and divine weapons alone would be worth more than 500 billion. And these energy stones, although there was not a lot, it was about the same as the ones Fong Ping blew up previously. There were definitely more than 10 billion. However, at this moment, Fong Ping did not really think much of it. Could 10 billion or so be considered money? This time, the harvest was incomparably huge, calculated in hundreds of billions. 10 billion. Fong Ping felt that there was no need to care about this small change. I'm rich. I'm rich. Fong Ping laughed so hard that his teeth were about to shatter. However, after laughing, Fong Ping still frowned slightly. The system did not add his wealth. This meant that the system had always believed that he was not out of danger yet. Fong Ping could understand. The bounded domain was indeed extremely dangerous. Not far away, there were many monsters and monster plants guarding. The Forbidden Sea was also full of danger. He still had to think of a way to cross the far west land and a few royal cities to go back. Previously, when he destroyed that small city, it could quickly calculate his wealth. That was because at that time, Fong Ping and the others had the ability to get out of danger and return to Sky South City, back to the human world. Now, it might not be the case. If that's the case, Fong Ping looked at his skeleton, suddenly having a headache. Should he still heal his injuries now? If he healed his injuries, if he used up his life essence now, the system would not calculate his wealth later. During the dangerous process, the items that were used up were not counted as wealth. However, if he did not heal his injuries, his current state was actually very bad. Even if he used up his wealth to repair his body, his state was still very bad. The worse the injury, the greater the danger. However, if he used it now, then he would lose a lot of wealth. Fong Ping thought about it and sighed. He still made up his mind. No matter how much wealth he had, he needed to be alive to spend it. Recovering to his peak state was what he needed to do now. In his situation, he did not need to use up too much life essence. He was only recovering to half a golden body, not a true golden body. Is one caddy enough? 500 grams might not be enough. At most, 2 caddies. 1,000 grams, the official price was 10 billion. The system calculated that his wealth was about 5 billion. This little bit less. Fong Ping did not think it was a big deal. Anything less than 10 billion was not considered a lot. Thinking of this, Fong Ping looked at Wang Jinyang and said, "Old Wang, I'll heal my injuries first. Help me keep an eye on things. If there are monsters coming, leave in time." Right now, this was the safest place. Many rank 9 powerhouses had fallen. The sealed world had exploded. Such an aura still lingered. Those monsters and monster plants did not dare to come over. If they left this place, it might be even more dangerous. Wang Jinyang nodded. When he saw that Fong Ping took out a lot of life essence, he felt a little sorry for Fong Ping. This guy, he was really generous. As for himself, he did not need it. Previously, he was injured quite badly. He had used up a lot of his imperishable substance. His injuries had mostly recovered. Fong Ping did not think much about it. Wang Jinyang had some ideas now. He might have been more than rank 8 in his past life. Rank 8 imperishable substance was also limited. Otherwise, Li Mo and the rest would not have been fighting in the form of skeletons. It was because the imperishable substance had been used up. As for him, his injuries were actually very serious. He had used up a lot of imperishable substance. He was also injured quite badly last time. During this period, he had also used the imperishable substance to cultivate. The consumption was also not small. He had not reached rank 8. Right now, he could not replenish the consumption of imperishable substance. After using so much, Wang Jinyang did not feel that the imperishable substance was going to be depleted. This meant that in his past life, he was stronger than a rank 8. Rank 9? Or stronger? He was not sure about this now. Fong Ping said that he was above the top. Wang Jinyang did not know whether what he said was true or not. It was hard to tell the truth from this guy's words. This time, Fong Ping spent a lot of time healing, and the consumption of life essence was more than he expected. When he used up 1 kilogram of life essence, Fong Ping's flesh had actually been reborn. However, Fong Ping realized that his half-golden body could continue to become stronger. It was similar to Old Man Li's state last time. Perhaps this was also an opportunity to break down and build up. Fong Ping gritted his teeth. In for a penny, in for a pound. He simply used up another 1 kilogram of life essence for his flesh to absorb. His half-golden body's golden glow was originally very dim, incomparable to Li Hansong's. Even if Fong Ping had reached rank 6 and Li Hansong was only rank 5, Li Hansong's half-golden body was still more resplendent than his. That also meant that it was stronger. However, when Fong Ping used up so much life essence, his golden body began to shine brightly. When Fong Ping opened his eyes and stopped, Wang Jinyang said attentively. Your golden body seems to have become stronger. Fong Ping revealed a look of joy. He grinned and said, the money this time was not spent in vain. It has indeed become stronger. Previously, I was easily beaten into a skeleton. Even the aftermath could beat me into a skeleton. Now it's hard to say. The strength of a rank 7 martial artist physique might not be comparable to mine. Although it's not a real golden body, I feel that it's much stronger than before. It was not a feeling, but a fact. At this moment, Fong Ping's data changed again. Wealth, 86. 2 billion converted vitality. 7,600 calories. 7,800 calories. Mentality. 380 hertz. 940 hertz. Bones honed. 177 bones. 100%. 29 bones. 90%. Storage space. 100 cubic meters plus. Energy shield. 10,000 wealth/minute plus 1. 100,000/minute. Or a simulation. 100,000 wealth/minute plus 1. 100,000/minute. 7,800 cal vitality. Over at the Forest of Death, Fong Ping had seen the data once. His vitality upper limit was only 7,088 calories. Recasting half golden body actually increased his vitality upper limit by more than 700 calories. This also meant that his body's strength was much stronger than before. As for the Sanjiao Gate, it was still not closed. Closing a gate meant a return of mysterious energy, which would continue to increase his body's strength. A rank 6 powerhouse's limit was 10,000 cal vitality. Fong Ping suspected that he could reach 10,000 cal very soon. Not only his vitality, but after his mentality was shattered countless times, there was also a small increase. Although it was not much, it was still an increase. The shattering of his mentality was a little similar to MCMEU Powerhouse's training in the pressure room. It was crushed by a stronger mentality pressure, and then an even stronger mentality was generated. His golden body was stronger, his vitality increased, and his mentality increased. This also made Fong Ping forget the displeasure of consuming life essence. Consuming 2 kilograms meant that the system had reduced his wealth by at least 10 billion. However, his state had reached its peak. Other than the slightly exploding feeling in his head, the pain in his body had disappeared. Fong Ping still felt refreshed. Thinking of this, Fong Ping suddenly said, "We've been here for at least 2 days and 2 nights. This was determined by the consumption of wealth. His energy shield was always open. The two of them consumed 6 million wealth in an hour, which would be more than 100 million in a day. Fong Ping spent some on healing himself, some on fighting, condensing celestiality, and recovering his mentality. He had a rough estimate of these expenses. Previously, when he expanded the storage space, he still had 87 billion wealth. The aura shield had cost at least 2 to 300 million wealth to match. 2 days and 2 nights was not considered too long. This meant that during the Rank 9 Battle Royale, the outburst of the boundary zone, and him and old Wang being buried under the rubble, only 1 night had passed, not a few days. April 26th, Fong Ping and the others entered the Tian'an catacombs. Now, it should be the 29th, and it was almost nighttime. After this night, it would be the 30th. This was Fong Ping's 5th time entering the catacombs. Other than the first time where he followed Tang Feng for a few days with the purpose of familiarizing himself with the catacombs, this time seemed to be the longest Fong Ping had ever stayed in the catacombs. Now he was still in the boundary zone, and he did not know when he could return. His injuries recovered. Fong Ping looked at the 2 skeletons on the ground, then at the 2 unconscious Rank 6 martial artists beside them. Frowning slightly, Fong Ping said in a low voice, "This time, it's a little troublesome." There were 4 more people. Although he could not tell if the 2 Rank 8s were dead or alive, they were still alive. It was not very convenient to move around while bringing these people along. Fong Ping looked at Wang Jinyang and asked, "Do you still think of a way to enter the inner area?" In the distance, the tall and towering boundary wall separated the boundary zone from the sealed boundary zone. In the outer area, other than some monsters and plants and some dilapidated historical sites, there were no other benefits. What Fong Ping harvested now were only the outsider's belongings. In the boundary zone, He had gained nothing. He could not even dig out that broken monument. The rank 7 bloodthirsty tree monster was also a defective product killed by someone else. Hearing Fong Ping say that he wanted to enter the inner area, Wang Jinyang smiled bitterly and said, "Fong Ping, forget it. Even Absolute Peak has fallen over there. Now that the instructor has been found, we should think of a way to go back. Besides, we can't enter anyway. The people from the restricted area have stayed here for such a long time, and they still can't enter. Can we open the boundary wall? I've taken a look. The boundary wall seems to be more dangerous than the sealed boundary underground." Fong Ping naturally knew these, but he still said with some regret, "Since we're already here. Sai, to be honest, I'm really curious about what's inside the boundary zone. Also, this seems to be an ancient ruin of the humans. Say, inside, are there any living people? Even our ancient humans are living inside. Why did the Yang family's elder ancestor run into this place all of a sudden? Before this, he said it was to cross boundaries. It seemed like the 10 southern territories were in danger. But to cross boundaries, not to go outside, but to go to a boundary zone full of dangers, was it necessary? These absolute peaks, rank 9, all yearned to enter the boundary zone. The more they thought about it, the more secrets there were. Besides, according to speculation, there are 108 small territories and 108 boundary zones. Are every boundary zone the same? What are the boundary zones overseas? We have human ruins here, and it seems to be Sino Nation human ruins. What about those overseas? Could it be that too? Or is it that only the Tian'an catacombs is a little special? Fong Ping said, "These people from the restricted area captured Instructor Zhang and the others, and kept whipping them. It seems like it was to open the boundary wall. Could it be that only us humans can open the boundary wall? Is it all humans, or just anyone? Whipping them should be for vitality outburst. Could it be that only vitality force can open the boundary wall?" Seeing that he began to analyze, Wang Jinyang really had a headache. He coughed lightly and said, "Fong Ping, we're only middle ranks. I'm only rank 5, and you're only rank 6. Isn't it too early to think about these things? Why not wait until we reach rank 7, then think of a way to explore the secret?" At this moment, after finding Zhang Qingnan, his only thought was to go back as soon as possible. He had already achieved his goal. As for what was inside, he was not interested in the Absolute Peak's remains. So what if they found the Absolute Peak's remains? Could it make them become Absolute Peak from rank 5 and 6 in a day? This place was too dangerous, so dangerous that these rank 5 and 6 martial artists were gambling with their luck and lives every second here. A little carelessness, and that would be death. They did not even have the strength to fight back. While both of them were talking, a series of monster roars suddenly sounded from the periphery. That kind of roar was not fear, nor was it restlessness or anger, but a feeling of excitement. Roar! The roars came one after another, spreading for thousands of miles. The bounded domain was like a straight line, spanning across the entire territory. From the southernmost Forbidden Sea all the way to the northernmost Imperial Sea Mountain was where the bounded domain was located, dividing this territory into small territories. At this moment, the long bounded domain was filled with the roars of monster beasts from all directions. Even the monster plants were also making strange, sharp cries. The entire bounded domain began to get excited. Fong Ping and Wang Jinyang were as if they were facing a formidable enemy. Wang Jinyang's face was a little pale. How many monster beasts and monster plants? The bounded domain was not big. Although it was very long, it was only a line. Compared to the far west, the bounded domain was not worth mentioning. However, on this small line, just the kind of roars they heard alone were no less than 100. Hundreds of high-ranked monster beasts. It was comparable to the number of high-ranked monster beasts in the entire far west. It was too scary. Wang Jinyang looked at Fong Ping. Although he did not say anything, his meaning was unmistakable. "Are you sure you want to continue staying here? Once the dangerous aura here was eliminated, then next it might be the monster feast time." Fong Ping swallowed his saliva. He was also a little frightened, but he still could not hide his doubts. He asked curiously, What's wrong with these monsters? They're suddenly so excited. I don't know. As Wang Jinyang was speaking, the next moment, both of them were shocked. The boundary wall in front, although it was originally like a crystal, it was not transparent. However, at this moment, the boundary wall fluctuated slightly, like ripples on water. Gradually, it began to become a little transparent. When this giant screen-like boundary wall began to become transparent, the roars of those monsters became louder. Fang Ping, on the other hand, widened his eyes and muttered, "Heavens! Heavenly Court! Heavenly Court!" Wang Jinyang also muttered, as if he was talking in his sleep. Immortal Palace. On the opposite side of the translucent boundary wall, they could vaguely see a boundless, majestic building complex floating in midair. That faintly discernible posture added a sense of mystery and immortality. The boundary wall was still rippling slightly. It had not opened yet. In the inner area, it seemed like it was drizzling, misty and misty. When the raindrops that might or might not be drizzling landed, the boundary wall suddenly shook violently. Immediately after, an extremely dense wave of energy surged out from the boundary wall. At this moment, Fang Ping seemed to have guessed something. He said in shock, "That's energy liquefaction. The energy in the inner area has liquefied. It's too saturated, and it's spreading out through the boundary wall. This is the immortal world? Could it be that the energy of the sealed world is actually all absorbed by the inner area? The immortal palace that extends thousands of miles, liquefied energy. How much energy is this?" Fang Ping's shock could not be any greater. Wang Jinyang was also completely stunned. Energy liquefaction. In order to liquefy the energy, Qin Fengqing spent 5 to 6 caddies of rank 9 energy stones, but only a little bit of energy was liquefied. And now, what did they see? They saw the inside of the faintly discernible boundary where the immortal palace was. Energy fell like raindrops. The energy was so dense that this huge boundary could not withstand it, and it was releasing energy outside through the boundary wall. "Go to the boundary wall." Fang Ping growled, grabbed the 2 golden skeletons, and ran far away. Wang Jinyang also gritted his teeth, picked up his teacher, and ran over there with another person. He wanted to cultivate. On the other side of the boundary wall, the liquefied energy was actually seeping out. This was simply the immortal world. If he entered the inner area to cultivate, Wang Jinyang did not even dare to think about it. This was not much weaker than Fang Ping's baths using life essence. Other than not having the effect of restoring vitality like life essence, both were actually liquefied energy. In a situation where there was no injury, using life essence to cultivate or using liquefied energy to cultivate was essentially the same. At this moment, besides being excited, Wang Jinyang could not help but feel a little greedy. Actually, he was very good at controlling these external desires. But looking at the faintly discernible boundary of the immortal palace, Wang Jinyang really felt that he could not control it anymore. What kind of place was the boundary wall? How was it formed? If one could enter, did that not mean that one could always cultivate in the energy essence? Also, what kind of place was the immortal palace? Were there still people inside? If one took over a boundary wall, if there was no one inside, did that not mean that countless people could enter and cultivate inside? Cultivating in this kind of liquefied energy field, even a pig could cultivate to become a rank 6 demon pig, right? Top powerhouses probably did not enter here for this energy. Could it be that there was something better inside? No, there definitely was. That majestic and magnificent sky palace. What exactly was inside? At this moment, Wang Jinyang could no longer stay calm. Fang Ping could not stay calm either. Boundary wall. Boundary wall. He believed what that fellow Qin Fengqing had said. Through the boundary wall, he seemed to see a golden spring pool. Could it be a pool formed by imperishable substances? No, that was not a pool. That was a huge lake. A huge lake floating in the air. Boundary wall. What kind of place is this? Fang Ping roared in his heart. He even wanted to pass through the boundary wall and enter directly. However, the moment he approached the boundary wall, Fong Ping felt a strong sense of danger. He quickly suppressed these thoughts. The boundary wall's attack was still there. He could not enter. A treasure mountain was right in front of him, but he could not reach it. He could only look at it helplessly. This kind of torture was simply more painful than turning into a skeleton. Chapter 513. Fong Ping was in excruciating pain. Since he could not enter, there was nothing he could do. He could only sit cross-legged at the periphery and start cultivating frantically. Cultivating with liquefied energy. Although the energy coming from the boundary wall was slightly thinner, it was still close to liquefaction. The feeling of energy penetrating his body made Fong Ping feel extremely good. No wonder there were so many high-ranked monsters and monster plants here. If the situation happened frequently, one day of cultivation might be equivalent to a few years in the outside world. In this place where there was no energy, Fong Ping had been wondering if these monsters had come from the Forbidden Sea. Now, he knew that they were really indigenous creatures of the sealed world. Wang Jinyang watched for a while. Without hesitation, he sat cross-legged and started cultivating. Zhang Qingnan and the other rank 6 martial artists were also put aside by him. Although these people were unconscious, being hit by this kind of liquefied energy was also beneficial. When a martial artist reached their rank, the celestial bridge would automatically absorb energy. Wang Jinyang did not care about this anymore. He had just broken through to peak rank 5 and had yet to start locating and materializing the Sanjiao Gate. Now, however, Wang Jinyang felt that maybe he could consider entering rank 6. The locating and materializing of the Sanjiao Gate did not have much to do with energy. However, in this environment, it was easier for martial artists to sense the location of the Sanjiao Gate. Although they could not enter, they could take the opportunity to enter rank 6 quickly. As for the monsters and monster plants in the boundary zone, these monsters and monster plants were all rushing to the vicinity of the boundary wall. No matter how many monsters and monster plants there were on a daily basis, none of the monsters attacked at this time. The energy tide only came once every few months. This was also their only chance to cultivate. The day of the energy tide was also their day of peace. Right now, everyone was cultivating. No monsters had the mind to care about others, while Fong Ping and the rest were cultivating crazily. The edge of the Forbidden Sea. Qin Fengqing and Fong Ping rushed for 2 to 3 days before they arrived at the Forbidden Sea tributary. Looking at the small river in front of them, Qin Fengqing had smashed the stone dozens of times without any movement. He could not help but ask, "Ironhead, didn't you say that this place is extremely dangerous? Why is there no movement at all?" Li Hansong shook his head. "How would I know? Do we cross the river?" Li Hansong was speechless when he saw Qin Fengqing walking towards the river, even though he said that. He whispered, "Be careful. If we fly into the middle of the river and a high-ranked monster appears, we're done for." Qin Fengqing thought for a moment, then suddenly lifted a huge rock and smashed it into the lake. The lake was still quiet. Qin Fengqing shrugged and said, "If the high ranks are provoked by us like this, why aren't they attacking us? His patience is too good. I don't think there are any demonic beasts in the water. Seems like it." The two of them were not too familiar with the Forbidden Sea. However, they had already caused such a huge commotion, yet there was no response at all. The possibility of a demonic beast being here was not high. Seeing this, the two of them no longer hesitated and flew towards the other side. Just as the two of them reached the other side of the river, at the bottom of the Forbidden Sea's tributary, the bottom could not be seen. The stone that Qin Fengqing had just thrown had landed on the head of an incomparably huge sea monster. However, at this moment, the demonic beast did not have the mind to care about the two ants above it. The surface of the Forbidden Sea was calm. Currently, there were waves of golden water flowing under the surface. The golden water flowed out from an unknown place and flowed into the Forbidden Sea. Currently, there were more than 100 water monsters gathered at the bottom of the small tributary. The weakest was rank 7. The stronger ones were all rank 9. At this moment, these monsters were greedily absorbing the golden substance that flowed out. The golden substance that flowed once every few months was the main reason why they gathered here. The Forbidden Sea was vast and boundless. It was unimaginable for a small tributary to have a large number of rank 9 monsters. However, there were tributaries like this in the vicinity of many boundaries. There were a large number of rank 9 monsters. These monsters were waiting for an opportunity like this. When the golden substance flowed, as long as it was not a high-ranked monster or a human flying over their heads, these monsters would not bother about it. Usually, they had nothing to do. Since the food under the water had been eaten, they would just drag some food to eat. Now that there was something better to eat, who would want to eat those ants? As for the dozens of stones that Qin Fengqing had thrown down and hit 4 or 5 monsters, the monsters did not care. It was light and did not feel anything. If they had the time to eat those ants, they might as well ignore it. Qin Fengqing, who had flown to the other side of the river, did not know about this. After flying past the Forbidden Sea tributary, Qin Fengqing looked back and mumbled, "I worried for nothing. This is too easy." Li Hansong was also at a loss. He was prepared to run away in case of a monster ambush. In the end, nothing happened. When he saw the forest in front, Qin Fengqing said cautiously, "This is the forest of death. It's very dangerous." He had heard Pudgy Jiang mention something about it. After crossing the river, it seemed like the forest of death was there. Anyway, it was very dangerous. Pudgy Jiang did not know exactly how dangerous it was. Damn Fatty said that the Forbidden Sea tributary is extremely dangerous, even more dangerous than the Forest of Death. But now that the tributary is completely fine, is the Forest of Death really dangerous? Qin Fengqing was starting to doubt Jiang Chao's words. Are you kidding me? Also, the energy here is very rich. Qin Fengqing greedily absorbed the overflowing energy. He said joyfully, "We're here. The energy is indeed rich." At this moment, Li Hansong, who was at the side, did not speak. Instead, he stared above his head. Qin Fengqing said a few words. Seeing that he did not speak, he tilted his head and looked at him. Seeing that he was staring above his head, he also looked up. There was nothing above his head, but in the sky ahead, there seemed to be a palace building faintly appearing. Qin Fengqing took a look and swallowed his saliva. He said in surprise, "A remnant of the domain zone? I don't know. I didn't see anything on the other side of the river just now. Once I came in, I saw it." Li Hansong was also very surprised. He said strangely, "It's only 1,000 meters away. Did it just appear? Or can't we see it from the other side?" "How would I know?" Qin Fengqing also did not know much about this place. The sky above the Forbidden Sea was densely covered with spatial cracks. Looking at the domain zone from the other side, almost nothing could be seen. The space was in chaos. Seeing a corner of the palace in the distance, Qin Fengqing said excitedly, "Stop looking. Let's go and see if it's a treasure." Hearing this, Li Hansong followed and passed by the Forest of Death. It was incomparably quiet. There seemed to be no life here. The two of them walked cautiously at first. Then, they started running. Even when they started running, no demonic beasts or demonic plants appeared. Qin Fengqing was completely relieved. As expected, Damn Fatty did not know much. What danger? Danger my asterisk SS. There was nothing, not even a rat. They ran. When they ran out of the Forest of Death, Qin Fengqing stared at the buildings that appeared in the sky far away. He said in shock, Is this the Heavenly Court?" Boundless, majestic buildings floated in the sky. They spread out for thousands of miles. The two of them were not in the same place as Fangping. They were walking at the edge of the Forbidden Sea, which was nearly 100 miles away from Fangping. At this moment, the two of them were not in the mood to care about where Fangping was. Qin Fengqing and Li Hansong stared at the buildings in the sky in a daze. After a moment, Qin Fengqing felt Li Hansong tugging at him. He murmured, "What's up, Iron Head? You don't regret bringing you here this time, do you? We're going to be rich." Old Qin, Li Hansong was shivering. His voice was trembling. He did not even dare to speak. His voice was so low that it could not be heard. He tugged at Qin Fengqing once again. Seeing that he was about to speak, Li Hansong covered his mouth immediately. He stretched out his hand and pointed into the distance. The two of them had been looking at the sky earlier. Their attention was attracted by the majestic buildings in the sky. However, at this moment, Li Hansong pointed straight ahead. His body was trembling. Qin Fengqing followed the direction of his finger and looked. Then he began to shiver. Motherf asterisk her. That scared the hell out of me. There was no dilapidated ancient city here. There were only some messy gravel. There was nothing to hide in front of them. About 3,000 to 4,000 meters away from them, underground, every 1,000 meters, there was a huge monster beast or monster plant lying on the ground cultivating. How many were there? Qin Fengqing swept his gaze across. He could see about 7,000 to 8,000 meters. There were close to 10 monsters and monster plants. And this was not all. In the areas where his vision was blurry, he could also see some towering monster plants or incomparably huge monsters. Gulp. Qin Fengqing swallowed his saliva, trembling slightly. Motherf asterisk her. This was a gathering of monsters and monster plants? So many. Because he had passed through the Forbidden Sea and the Forest of Death, he thought that there was nothing here. Who knew that all the monsters and monster plants were here? It was too scary. Ironhead, what should we do? Qin Fengqing stuttered. He was not afraid of death, but it did not mean that he was looking for it. There were so many high-ranked monsters. They were definitely high-ranked. He was sure that he could not be wrong. If he was discovered, he would be dead meat. Li Hansong was also extremely nervous. Then he suddenly scratched his head and said, This place, why do I feel a little familiar? At this time, while Li Hansong was looking at these monsters, he could not help but see the floating palaces. He said with some suspicion, Old Qin, this place, I think I've been here before. Qin Fengqing, who was already prepared to run away, stopped in his tracks when he heard that. He swallowed his saliva again and said, You've been here before? This is your first time here? Could it be? Li Hansong murmured, Heavenly Court? Is this my northern general's residence? He looked at the residence that seemed to exist alone in front of him, a little lost. This place really felt a little familiar to him. Of course, he was sure that he had never been here before and had never seen these before. But it just felt familiar. He thought about what Fang Ping had told him. Could it be that he was looking at the Northern General's residence now? Northern General's residence. Qin Fengqing was almost stunned. Don't joke with me. Could this really be Heavenly Court? This was Li Hansong's hometown. No, Li Hansong suddenly frowned and said in a low voice, It doesn't seem like it. I feel like I might have been here before, but this isn't my home. Qin Fengqing looked at him blankly. How could you tell? Also, if this wasn't your home, then whose home was it? No, this wasn't your home in the first place. Just because you said it was yours, it was yours? Just as Qin Fengqing was feeling suspicious, Li Hansong suddenly said in his sleep, I'm guessing, could this be the Southern General's residence? Old Yao's residence? This is Tiannan. This is also the south of the Tiannan catacombs. It's all in the south. Maybe this is Old Yao's home. I might have been here before. Then the Northern General's residence. Could it be in the north? As he spoke, Li Hansong looked toward the north. The north was where Mount Imperial Sea was. Could it be that his residence was in the north? Was Heavenly Court in the catacombs? Could it be that the Southern General was fighting in the Forbidden Sea in the south? The Northern General was fighting in the Forbidden Sea in the north? Was the Southern General more powerful, or the Northern General more powerful? The Forbidden Sea seemed to be more dangerous than the Forbidden Sea. Could it be that he, Li Hansong, was not as strong as Yao Qingjun in his past life? At this moment, these extremely strange thoughts floated in Li Hansong's mind. The Southern General and Northern General must be very powerful. Then, was there a Western General and Eastern General? If there was, it didn't seem like much. Fighting in the small territory next to it, this strength didn't seem to be enough. Right, this was the Southern Territory. Could it be that this wasn't the Heavenly Court, but simply a Southern General's residence? Did that not mean that this was all Yao Qingjuan's old home? Li Hansong had countless doubts again. Then he said in a daze, "Should we go to old Yao's house?" Qin Fengqing. Qin Fengqing wanted to curse. "So, you've already assigned everything? First your house, then Yao Qingjuan's house. Why not mine?" Too lazy to bother with this guy. Qin Fengqing carefully glanced at the beasts in front of him. Suddenly, he frowned and said, "Iron Head, look. Are those beasts cultivating? It seems like there's energy seeping out of that transparent wall. The sealed world." At this time, Qin Fengqing sobered up and quickly made a judgment. "This is the sealed world. They can't enter. Iron Head, you said that this is either your house or old Yao's house. Then this sealed world might be the anti-theft door you made. Do you have the key to your own anti-theft door?" Li Hansong said in distress, "It might not be my house. I feel that it's old Yao's house. Even if he has the key, will old Yao give it to me? Why don't we go to the north? Maybe that's where my house is. I'll go open the door." This guy really wanted to try opening the door now. Maybe he really made the anti-theft door himself. "Open the anti-theft door and go back to my hometown. Maybe there's something good there." Hearing this, Qin Fengqing said softly, "Why don't you try opening the door here? Anyway, didn't you say that you might have been here before? Maybe you stole the key to old Yao's house?" "I'm not that kind of person." Li Hansong was displeased. "Why would I do such a thing?" "Then maybe you two were close and he gave you the key?" "That's true." Li Hansong thought about it and suddenly shook his head. "No, there's so many watchdogs at the door. I don't dare to go." There were demon beasts and demon plants everywhere. He really didn't dare to go. Now he even wanted to leave. Qin Fengqing curled his lips and mumbled, "Look, those demon beasts and demon plants are not moving at all. And the energy there is so thick. It's almost comparable to energy essence. There's still a gap between the two demon beasts, 1,000 meters away. Tai-Tu, why don't we sneak over and take a look? Maybe we can directly open the door and enter." We've encountered all kinds of danger along the way. Why don't we?" Qin Fengqing gritted his teeth and said, "I'll take a loss and lure away a demon beast. You go and try opening the door. I'll come back after you've opened the door." Li Hansong was stunned. This guy really wasn't afraid of death. There were so many demon beasts here. Once he lured the whole body and caused so many demon beasts and demon plants to riot, even 10 Qin Fengqings would be dead. Seeing that he was silent, Qin Fengqing said enviously, "What do you say? Bring me to your house." "No." "To old Yao's house?" "Don't worry, I'll just take a look. I'll come out after cultivating for a while." Li Hansong said with a headache, "It might not be our house. Maybe it's old Wang's house? Maybe it's Fang Ping's house? Or someone else's." Back then, the 108 generals of the heavenly court. Qin Fengqing was speechless. Whose house was it? Before he could ask, Li Hansong murmured again, "That's right." Fang Ping said, 108 generals of the heavenly court. 108 territories. Could it be that each territory is a mansion? What Fang Ping said is all true. That's right. How can the heavenly court be so small? Even if it's the heavenly court within 1,000 miles, the heavenly palace is too small. If it's 108 mansions, it'll be normal if they're the general's mansions. Then, where's the heavenly court? Thinking of this, Li Hansong suddenly looked up at the sky, then looked at Mount Imperial Sea in the north, murmuring, Could it be that the 108 generals' mansions surround and protect the heavenly court? If the 4 territories in the north, south, east, and west are circular and all surround Mount Imperial Sea, then inside Mount Imperial Sea is the heavenly court? Speaking of this, Li Hansong was stunned. Back then, the heavenly court had set up its headquarters in the restricted area. Then now, could it be that the people in the restricted area were living in the heavenly court back then? Or perhaps the catacombs was where the heavenly court was back then. The more he thought about it, the more shocked Li Hansong was. He wanted to know what had happened back then that caused the heavenly court to fall apart and the 108 generals to die in battle. At this moment, he really did not consider that Fang Ping was fooling him. Everything that Fang Ping said had been verified. He said that they were powerhouses who had come back to life. This was true. He said that the storage ring existed, and that he and his people still had these things. It was possible that they were inside his gate of life. He said that there were 108 generals in the heavenly court. Now, there were 108 small territories and 108 territories. There were also incomparably huge mansions that appeared in the territories. It also corresponded. Everything was true. The heavenly court really existed. Li Hansong was still shocked, still at a loss, still in shock. Qin Fengqing could not hold it in anymore. He scolded in a low voice. You might as well just say that the catacombs are yours. The possibility is very high. Li Hansong looked serious. The possibility was really very high. Qin Fengqing was about to break down. He scolded again. Stop talking nonsense. You're already dead. No, you're already dead in your past life. When you're dead, everything is confiscated. No matter who these things belong to. It's first come, first served now. Do you want to try going in? Li Hansong hesitated for a moment. He glanced at the monsters around him. After a while, he gritted his teeth and said, Let's go and try. Keep the commotion down. These monsters seem to have entered a deep level of cultivation. Don't lure them away to avoid adding to the trouble. Let's just try. If we can't get in, then we'll give up. Don't force your way in. The anti-theft door that we set up back then must be very strong. Shut up. Qin Fengqing felt uncomfortable. What did he say? Did it really become your house? And the anti-theft door that you guys set up? I was just saying it, and you took it seriously? Li Hansong said no more. Forget it. Whether it was his house, or old Yao's house, or the homes of other generals, he would give it a try. Anyway, he really felt that this place was a little familiar. The two of them said no more and carefully moved toward the boundary wall. Within 1,000 meters, there were two high-rank monsters. At such a short distance, the two of them could not hide their vitality force. They might have been discovered already, but these monsters did not move at all. Maybe it would be fine? Both of them were extremely afraid. However, looking at the boundary wall, energy was even leaking out like water. Both of them were extremely envious. After going through so much trouble to come here, they should at least give it a try. Chapter 5:14. Ancient City. The Sanjiao Gate above Fong Ping's head was frantically consuming energy to close its door. It would be a waste not to use energy that did not cost money. He had no way of collecting the energy that had spilled out. Otherwise, Fong Ping would have tried to see if he could bring it back and turn it into high-ranked energy stones. While he was consuming energy to close the gate, Wang Jinyang was also rapidly locating the Sanjiao Gate. Or rather, Wang Jinyang did not even bother to locate it before the Sanjiao Gate was found. Peak rank 5 martial artists would usually spend a lot of time searching for the Sanjiao Gate. Even Fong Ping had previously spent 7 days and 7 nights on the sea in order to materialize the Sanjiao Gate. As for Wang Jinyang, in this energy-rich environment, the Sanjiao Gate even seemed to be squeezing outwards on its own. Wang Jinyang was very surprised. This was too easy to find, was it not? Or could it be that he had materialized it once in his past life, and this was just a kind of revival? He did not know, but it did not stop him from materializing the Sanjiao Gate. Just as Fong Ping was still closing the door, 3 gates suddenly appeared above old Wang's head. Fong Ping woke up with a start. Then, a shocking scene unfolded before them. The speed at which the 3 doors appeared was extremely fast. Appearing in this space from another space was almost as easy as drinking water, unlike Fong Ping, who seemed a little constipated. What shocked Fong Ping even more was one of old Wang's Sanjiao Gate was sealed. Yes, it was sealed. The moment it was materialized, it was even a little transparent. Just like Qin Fengqing, Fong Ping also saw something inside. Fong Ping looked at old Wang with a dazed expression. Mother asterisk Kerr. He really resurrected with a treasure. Wang Jinyang was also looking above his head at this moment, mumbling, This is a sealed life gate? Fong Ping's expression was strange. He said, Old Wang, we're rich. Wang Jinyang ignored him and continued to materialize the Sanjiao Gate. After a while, the Sanjiao Gate was completely materialized. At this moment, mysterious energy began to feed back to his body. Something that made Fong Ping even more depressed happened. At this moment, Old Wang's body actually showed signs of turning into a light golden color. Mother of Asterisker, what was going on? You guys are too shameless. I've cheated for so long and consumed countless resources. I've even consumed a large amount of life essence and immortal substances to forge a half-golden body. Are you guys going to forge a half-golden body straight away? Shameless. Fong Ping cursed under his breath. Cheating. Even if he cheated, he had worked hard and struggled. He had been beaten into a skeleton many times. Lao Wang was too shameless. Iron Head Li was the same. After cultivating for a night, Iron Head Li had a half-golden body. Old Wang, materialize your Sanjiao Gate, and you'll have half a golden body. Was there any justice in this world? There was no justice in the world. Luckily, Old Wang did not have golden bones. Otherwise, Fong Ping would have beaten him to death. As for Li Hansong, he had not tempered his bone marrow yet. Even if these two fellows were rank 6, they still had a slight advantage over him. In addition, their mentality was average, which made Fong Ping feel slightly better. Otherwise, he really wanted to strangle these fellows to death. After a while, Wang Jinyang's energy feedback ended. He lowered his head to look at his body, and then at the Sanjiao Gate above his head that had yet to be retracted. He raised his eyebrows slightly and said, I can't open it. It can't be opened? I can't push it open? At this moment, Wang Jinyang could no longer maintain his composure. He frowned and asked, What's inside the life gate? How would I know? Fong Ping had just said that when he suddenly coughed softly and said, it could be a storage ring, a divine weapon, or a cultivation combat technique or something. Of course, it could also be imperishable substances or something else. I can't see too clearly. What about you? Wang Jinyang gave him a look and asked, Your life gate is open, right? Cough, cough, cough. Fong Ping chuckled and said, It's normal. Everyone has their own path of resurrection. Wang Jinyang ignored him. In the past, he felt that Fong Ping's words were 30% false and 70% true. Now, it was 10% true and 90% false. It was fine to just listen to it, but not take it seriously. He continued to stare at his Sanjiao Gate for a while. Beside him, Fong Ping suddenly said, You've sealed a gate. Doesn't that mean your realm is higher than mine? At this moment, Fong Ping thought of the main point. Then, as the martial arts university's #1, wouldn't I fall behind? Wang Jinyang looked at him. After a while, he said, The sealing of the life gate doesn't seem to bring me much benefit. Also, it can't be opened. This could not be opened. Opening it by force would not work either. This might not be a good thing. At least when they were fighting for their lives, others could open a sealed gate. He could not. Then his explosive power would be slightly weaker than those of the same rank. Of course, they had a huge advantage. If others really opened 3 gates, they would not have the upper hand. After Wang Jinyang said that, Fong Ping thought for a while and said, If it can't be opened, maybe one person's strength is not enough. Old Wang, are you afraid that if you open it, you won't be able to seal it? What do you mean? What I mean is I'll help you. Both of us will push open your life gate and take a look. Maybe we can get what's in your life gate. What I'm afraid of is that once it's opened, it can't be sealed. Then it'll be troublesome. I even suspect that if we really open it by force, it will cause a huge loss of your vitality. Then it'll be over. After all, you're an old antique. You're not? Fong Ping was speechless. Why are you interrupting? Why do you care whether I am or not? Ignoring him, Fong Ping continued. What I'm saying is, I can disguise your aura and use my strength to help you open this gate. Wang Jinyang said again. Previously, you said that you can't disguise a human's aura. Only a bloodline descendant. That's why you said that Qin Fengqing is your bloodline. Now you can do it again? Fong Ping's embarrassment turned into anger. He said exasperatedly, Old Wang, since when did you learn to talk nonsense? This guy was very quiet before. Now he talked too much nonsense. He even picked on Fong Ping's loopholes. I'm talking about serious matters. Important matters. It's related to your identities. Can you not interrupt me? Wang Jinyang did not say anymore. This guy, he really did not speak the truth. Lies. Super big lies. That guy Qin Fengqing was almost fooled into believing it was true. Now this guy was overturning his own words. This made Wang Jinyang very tired. This guy Fong Ping, in the future, he should just listen to the opposite of what he said. Of course, serious matters were more important. After hearing that, Wang Jinyang said, "Your aura disguise is just a disguise. The source is still different from mine. Can you really touch my Sanjiao gate?" Fong Ping raised his eyebrows. "I said it's a disguise, but it might not be a disguise. Maybe you can disguise it until it's real? Do you want to try? Tell me. I'll go in and take a look." Wang Jinyang thought about it and nodded. "All right, we could try. Even if there's no way to seal it, it's nothing." After hearing that, Fong Ping did not delay any further. He began to disguise old Wang's aura. Very soon, his aura was the same as old Wang's. However, only he could feel it. Wang Jinyang could not. Fong Ping's energy shield was still open. After disguising his aura, Fong Ping's hand emitted a weak gush of vitality force and shot it toward the life gate above Wang Jinyang's head. Ding, a low, inaudible sound of collision was heard, as if it came from another space. Fong Ping's gaze moved. He was slightly excited. He said in a low voice, "I can do it." Wang Jinyang was also a little shocked. Could this guy really do it? How is it possible? Then his aura disguise. This was not even disguise anymore. If this guy looked exactly like him, would he not be a living copy of himself? The aura of the origin could also be disguised. How could it be? Wang Jinyang's head was as big as a cow's. Who was Fong Ping, exactly? Just as he was thinking about this, Fong Ping suddenly coughed softly. "Actually, my aura disguise is only effective on people I know. Back then, I intercepted a part of your life origin. Get lost." Old Wang scolded him directly. "Mother asterisk her, still trying to lie to me." Fong Ping pursed his lips. "It's up to you to believe it or not. Forget it, I don't care anymore. I'll try to push it. You use your strength too. Let's work together to push it." All right. Both of them did not waste any time. They began to gather their strength and push the sealed door together. However, after pushing for a while, even using Fong Ping's mentality, it was still useless. The door did not budge an inch. Sensing all this, Fong Ping shook his head. "No, the difference in strength is too big. Maybe I can only do it after my mentality materializes. But it's almost there. My mentality is about to materialize." At this time, both of them stopped cultivating. Cultivating here was very fast, and there was plenty of energy too. However, both of them mainly had to seal the Sanjiao gate. For all ranks of martial artists, the energy requirement for rank 6 was actually the smallest. Rank 7 needed a lot of energy to hone their skulls. Rank 8 needed to hone their golden body. Currently, rank 9 was unclear. As for the other rank 1 to rank 5, those who honed their bones would hone their bones. Those who honed their organs would hone their organs. Only rank 6 did not need that much. Of course, there were still many benefits to cultivating with such a high concentration of energy. The closing speed was also slightly faster. However, Fong Ping himself was rich. He had a lot of life essence, so he did not put his heart and soul into cultivation. Compared to energy, Fong Ping was more curious about this palace inside the boundary zone. What exactly was this place? Fong Ping was still thinking if he should try to go in and take a look. In the end, before he could move, the boundary wall suddenly trembled. The next moment, inside the boundary wall, an extremely powerful aura rose. Even through the boundary wall, this incomparably powerful aura was projected. Fong Ping was suppressed to the point that he could not breathe. As for the monsters and plants near the boundary wall, they were all howling in fear, fleeing toward the periphery one after another. Fong Ping was stunned for a moment. He said in surprise, "There's someone inside." "No, it doesn't seem like pressure." Wang Jinyang was also stunned for a moment. Then, He hurriedly picked up Zhang Qingnan and the other person, saying nervously, "Let's leave this place first." Fang Ping also picked up the two golden skeletons. Just as he was about to leave, he turned back to look inside the boundary wall to see what was happening. However, the next moment, Fang Ping was stunned. Fang Ping kicked Wang Jinyang, turned his head and said, "What's that?" Hearing that, Wang Jinyang also turned his head to look. When he saw inside the boundary wall, there seemed to be two figures flying toward them. He was also stunned. Was there really someone there? However, it did not seem like they flew out. Why did it feel like they were thrown out? Moreover, as these two figures got closer and closer to the boundary wall, why did it feel a little familiar? Fang Ping also felt a little familiar. At this moment, Fang Ping held back his palpitations, stopped, looked again for a moment, and said with a dazed expression, "Ironhead and Qin Fengqing. It's them. How can this be? Why are these two fellows here?" Both of them looked at each other, stunned. In the next moment, these two figures that stunned them were already close to the boundary wall. Boom, boom. Two consecutive explosions were heard. Then, Fang Ping and Wang Jinyang saw, on the boundary wall, two figures slipping down from the boundary wall in midair like mud. When they slid to the bottom, Fang Ping could even see the two people's faces in extreme pain. At this moment, the boundary wall wriggled like vomiting, squeezing the two out directly. Li Hansong was still a little dizzy. He wanted to cry, but had no tears. "It's not my house. We entered the wrong place." Having said that, Li Hansong suddenly leaped up vigilantly. When he saw Fang Ping and Qin Fengqing staring at him with an extremely strange expression, Li Hansong was also shocked. "Why are you guys here?" Fang Ping and Qin Fengqing were not rare in the boundary wall, but why were they in front of them? Beside them, Qin Fengqing, who was dizzy from the fall, also stood up at this moment. He saw stars and said, "Ironhead, didn't you say this is your house? If not, then why is old Yao's house so brutal?" As Qin Fengqing said that, he also saw Fang Ping and Qin Fengqing, looking embarrassed. Then, disregarding the presence of the two people, he picked up the thing in his hand and started eating. Fang Ping watched for a while and could not help but ask in shock, "You're eating dirt? Why, you want it too?" Qin Fengqing looked alert. Then, he quickly ate most of the dirt in his hand and said immediately, "There's no more. I've eaten it. My saliva is all on it. Don't even think about it." Fang Ping's face darkened. Only a ghost would want your dirt. However, Fang Ping still could not hold it in. Full of doubts, he asked hurriedly, "Why are you guys here? And you even entered the boundary wall. Right, what happened to you guys? It seems like you were thrown out by someone. What was that explosive force just now? Was it a person? Was there someone inside?" "It's a long story." Li Hansong sighed and briefly explained for a while. At last, he said, "Then I tried, and I really squeezed in. However, just as I squeezed in, that bastard Qin Fengqing grabbed me and followed me in. I didn't even have time to react before I was grabbed by something. Then, we were thrown out." Li Hansong sighed. "This isn't my house. We entered the wrong door. We're probably not welcome." "Is there someone inside?" Fang Ping asked hurriedly. Li Hansong shook his head. "I don't know. Anyway, I was caught and thrown out the moment I entered." Beside him, Qin Fengqing answered, "It doesn't seem like a person. It seems like Qin Fengqing did not know how to describe it. After a while, he said, "I can't describe it. It feels a little like a dead thing." "All right." As he said that, Qin Fengqing said with some shock, "When I was thrown out just now, I think I saw the Yang family's old ancestor." "You saw it?" The other three were very surprised. Qin Fengqing nodded. "Really? When I was thrown out, I was thinking if I should grab something and bring it out. In the end, I saw a person kneeling at the Sky Palace's main entrance. I don't know if it's the Yang family's old ancestor. It should be him. Fatty Jiang has the portraits of the 13 old ancestors. These people's outfits have been drawn. I think they look a little like him." Fang Ping said in surprise, "Kneeling? Not dead?" Qin Fengqing shook his head. "I don't know if he's dead or not. Anyway, there's no movement." Maybe he's dead. It's normal for the dead to kneel. But it's strange. How did he die at the main entrance? As he said that, Qin Fengqing said again, Ironhead and I were directly sucked into the Sky Palace in the sky, and then thrown out. We didn't die. How did he die? As he spoke, Qin Fengqing continued to eat the soil. Fang Ping watched for a while and was speechless. You're still eating? Duh. Qin Fengqing said gloomily. This time, the only thing I got from entering here is this handful of soil. I grabbed it when I just came out. You don't say. It's really good stuff. It's really delicious. It's rich in energy. I feel like my body has become stronger. It's good stuff, a divine item. As Qin Fengqing said that, he quickly ate the rest of the soil. He said happily, not bad. I didn't return empty-handed. Fang Ping, this thing is really strong. I feel like it's even stronger than the life essence I consumed last time. I feel like I'm about to break out of the soil and be reborn. This is definitely not soil. It just looks a little like soil. Fang Ping stared at him for a while. After a while, he murmured, You're not just feeling it. You've really broken out of the soil and sprouted. Old Qin, don't tell me that the soil you grabbed is specially used to plant medicinal herbs? What do you mean? Qin Fengqing touched his head. As a result, he was stunned. On his head, it had begun to sprout. No, it was growing hair. It grew faster and faster. After a while, his long hair reached his waist. The few of them looked dazed. Fang Ping thought for a while and looked around. In a crevice, he found a stalk of tenacious grass. Then, Fang Ping plucked the grass. While Qin Fengqing was still in a daze, he stuffed the grass root on his head. And this stalk of grass began to grow very quickly. The few of them were completely stunned. Qin Fengqing's face darkened. He grabbed the grass and threw it aside. Then he said somewhat speechlessly, What kind of soil is this? The effect is too good. This time when he entered the bounded zone, he did not get anything. He only grabbed a handful of soil and came out. In the end, it actually made him sprout. Everyone was also extremely speechless. This guy did not bring anything when he entered the inner circle. He only brought this back, and it actually made people germinate. Wang Jinyang looked for a while and seemed to understand. He laughed and said, The energy inside is too rich. Fang Ping, you saw the energy rain earlier, right? The soil inside must be extremely rich in energy. Maybe it's even mixed with a little vitality. It's not strange for it to break out of the soil and sprout. Qin Fengqing did not care about this. He only said unhappily, It's still growing. Mother asterisk her, I'm done for. My whole body is growing hair. How long will this take? He looked like a savage. His eyebrows, beard, and hair on his body were all growing hair. Fang Ping stared at his crotch for a while and could not help but laugh. Who knows how long it will take? You eat everything. He did not continue talking about this. Qin Fengqing would not die anyway. Fang Ping said again, This place doesn't seem to allow us to enter. Ironhead went in and was thrown out too. Could it be because he did not meet the requirements? Or is there another reason? The key is that both of you are actually not dead. That's strange. Fang Ping was confused. These two fellows did not die even after messing around. They were even thrown out alive. What was the reason for this? Li Hansong could actually go in. Ironhead can go in. Fang Ping said suddenly. I can too. They all looked at him. Wang Jinyang seemed to have thought of something. He frowned slightly and said, Don't try anymore. It's too dangerous. You were thrown out just now. If you mess around again, you might be killed. Fang Ping could change his aura. Perhaps he could change into Li Hansong's aura and blend in. However, Li Hansong himself was thrown out. If he changed into Li Hansong's aura, it would probably not be any better. Thinking of this, Fang Ping hurriedly asked a few more questions. When he heard Li Hansong's judgment that this was either his house or Yao Qingjuan's house, Fang Ping was speechless. I was just saying, did you take it seriously? But then again, it was really possible. Now that Li Hansong was thrown out, did it mean that this was Yao Qingjuan's house? As for old Wang, he did not sense anything. It should have nothing to do with him. Fang Ping pondered for a moment and began to change his aura. This time, it was not Li Hansong's but Yao Qingjuan's. When he changed his aura, as long as he had seen it before and was weaker than him, he could imitate it. After imitating Yao Qingjuan's aura, in the next moment, Fang Ping was about to try squeezing toward the boundary wall when Wang Jinyang suddenly growled, "Go!" Without another word, Fang Ping turned around and ran. He had just left his original spot when the boundary wall took the initiative to release a mentality attack to attack him. However, it was only an attack and dissipated quickly. It was not the kind of relentless attack that targeted the catacombs peak. Sensing this scene, Li Hansong said in a daze, "It's not old Yao's house. It seems like he's not on good terms with old Yao. He's been dead for so many years. He still remembers old Yao's enemy. It seems like he's purposely chasing people away. Yes, the kind that was purposely chasing people away. It was as if he did not welcome this fellow." Everyone was speechless. Could it be that this was the house of Yao Qingjuan's enemy? "He's my friend, old Yao's enemy. He's not familiar with old Wang." Li Hansong said with a headache, "Fang Ping, do you still remember these?" Fang Ping did not utter a word. Nonsense. What did he know? Ignoring him, Fang Ping shook his head and said, "Forget it. I can't go in. I'll go back and see if there are any other resurrected martial artists. I'll disguise my aura and try again next time." After he said this, the others did not have much of a reaction. Qin Fengqing waved his saber to cut off the threads of affection while saying faintly, "You said that disguising aura can only disguise bloodline descendants. Fang Ping, is old Yao also your grandson?" "Mother asterisk cur, you're lying again. This bastard, is there any truth in his mouth?" Earlier, old Wang had also questioned him. Fang Ping's answer was not smooth. This time, with experience, Fang Ping said without hesitation, "Nonsense. Back then, they were all my subordinates. Before they died, in order to find them, I intercepted a part of their life, origin. Of course, I can disguise them." Regardless of whether they believed him or not, Fang Ping said as he walked, "I can't go in this time. If I have a chance, I'll come again next time, or I can go to other territories to try. It's time to go. The aura here is almost gone. If I don't leave now, I won't be able to leave anymore." Earlier in the Sky Palace, a powerful aura had erupted, scaring away those monsters. If they did not leave now, when these monsters came back to their senses, the aura here would also be washed away. Those few people would be in trouble. The others did not object, but Qin Fengqing still said regretfully, "I only ate a handful of soil. What a pity. Fortunately, I didn't encounter any danger this time. If there's a chance, I'll come again next time." Now that he said that, Fang Ping remembered. These two fellows could not conceal their aura. How did they cross the Forbidden Sea? He asked casually. When he found out, the two of them flew indirectly. Fang Ping and Wang Jinyang were speechless. They did not die. These two fellows' lives were not ordinary. At this moment, Fang Ping was also suspicious. Could it be that his previous guess was right? If the commotion was not big, they would be fine. After asking a few more questions, when he heard that Qin Fengqing had smashed rocks many times without any monsters attacking, Fang Ping felt that this was not because the commotion was not big. When the two of them came in, the energy tide erupted. Could this be the reason? Without thinking about this, Fang Ping prepared to leave. As for the territories, he would come again when his strength was stronger. The Sky Palace, the thing that threw people out, the absolute peak of death. There were too many secrets that could not be unraveled because of his strength. Why would humans appear in the catacombs so early? What was the relationship between Li Hansong's group and these territories? Why did the absolute peak ancestor die after entering here? Even Qin Fengqing, the fellow who followed them in, did not die. How could the Yang family's ancestor die? From the situation of these two people being thrown out, the thing inside did not seem to want to kill everyone. "I won't come back again," Fang Ping murmured. Beside him, Qin Fengqing, who was still growing hair, also said at the same time. Eating a handful of soil had almost the same effect as a large amount of life essence. Did that not mean that after eating all the soil here, he would be rich? P.S. After thinking about it, I think it's better not to enter the territories now. I overturned some of the original content. These few chapters may have some contradictions. It's too early. The trip to the territories has ended here. Sorry, you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.